Have you ever considered that your financial reality is not a reflection of the world, but a blueprint, a design drawn deep within you, long ago, in a language you have perhaps forgotten? Consider the architect standing before a vast, empty plot of land. The land is untouched, fertile, ready. This land is your subconscious mind. The architect is the sum of your beliefs, your experiences, your silent assumptions, and the structure that rises from this land, the reality you inhabit day after day, is built entirely from that inner blueprint. We have been taught to work on the building, to polish the floors, to paint the walls, to fix the leaking roof, always reacting to the external structure. We spend our lives in a state of frantic repair, chasing a sense of security that feels forever one step away. You have felt it, this exhaustion, the relentless pressure to do more, to have more, to be more. You run the race, you play the game, and yet, even in moments of success, a quiet hollowness can remain. A feeling that you are playing by rules you never agreed to, in a game you do not fully understand. The numbers in an account rise and fall, but the underlying feeling of unease, of scarcity, persists. It is the ghost in the machine, the quiet hum of not enough, that colors every decision, every desire. But for a moment, let us set all of that aside. Let go of the numbers, the bills, the frantic striving. Step away from the noise of the world, a world that screams for your attention, that measures your worth in possessions and status. I invite you now into a different space, a quiet space, a space of inner architecture. This is not a strategy to manipulate the world outside. It is a journey inward, to find the original blueprint, to read its faded lines, and to begin, with intention and with courage, to draw anew. We are not here to learn another trick to get ahead. We are here to remember a truth we have forgotten, that abundance is not something you acquire, it is something you return to. It is your natural state. The journey begins now, not with a great leap, but with a single quiet breath. The journey to rediscovering the infinite blueprint within. Before you can draw a new blueprint, you must first survey the land. And as you stand in the quiet stillness of your own awareness, you begin to notice something. It is not loud, it is not a shout, it is a hum, a vibration, an echo from a past you did not consciously create, yet one that dictates the emotional weather of your present. This is the echo of lack. It is the ghost in your machine. It is the subtle, pervasive feeling that there is never quite enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity, not enough of you to go around. It is the tightness in your chest when you look at a price tag for something you truly desire. It is the quiet voice that whispers, "Be realistic," when your heart dreams of expansion and freedom. It is the invisible fence that surrounds your ambitions, keeping you within a territory of what feels safe, familiar, and perpetually insufficient. This echo is so constant, so deeply embedded in the background noise of your mind, that you have likely mistaken it for your own voice. You have assumed that this feeling of perpetual striving, of running just to stand still, is simply the nature of life. You believe the anxiety is yours. You believe the fear is yours. You believe the limitations are yours, but they are not. They are only echoes. This program of scarcity was not a conscious choice. It was installed piece by piece, without your permission. It is a legacy passed down through generations. Think back, listen closely. You can hear the faint transmissions from your childhood, the worried conversations about bills overheard from the next room, the phrase, "Money doesn't grow on trees," spoken with a sigh of exhaustion, the subtle message that wanting too much was greedy, that good people were humble and did not concern themselves with wealth. These were not malicious teachings. They were the expressions of your parents' own programming, their own fears, their own inherited echoes. Then came the influence of the world, a society that simultaneously worships wealth and demonizes the wealthy. A culture that tells you to hustle until you break, equating struggle with virtue and burnout with honor. It taught you that your value was tied to your productivity, that rest was a luxury you had to earn. Every advertisement you saw was designed to amplify this feeling of lack, to create a hole inside you that only a product could fill. Every news report of economic downturns added another layer of fear, another reason to contract, to save for a rainy day that, in the mind of lack, is always just around the corner. And then your own experiences carved the patterns deeper. The job you didn't get, the business that failed, the unexpected expense that threw your life into chaos. Each event acted as a confirmation, a piece of evidence that the echo was right all along. "See," it whispers, "the world is a dangerous place. It's better to play small. It's better not to want too much, because the pain of losing it is too great." And so the ghost in the machine grew stronger, its whispers becoming your unquestioned reality. This creates a profound and exhausting conflict within you. There is a part of you, the conscious you, the evolving you, that yearns for more. It reads books like this one. It feels the spark of possibility. It desires financial freedom not for the sake of luxury, but for the sake of peace, for the ability to create, to contribute, to live without the grinding pressure of survival. This part of you sees the possibility of a different reality. It wants to build, to expand, to experience the fullness of what life can offer. But it is at war with a powerful, invisible force. The subconscious mind, running its ancient program of scarcity, fears this change. It finds a strange comfort in the familiar struggle. The known pain of lack can feel safer than the unknown territory of abundance. What would happen if you truly succeeded? Would people treat you differently? Would you lose yourself? Would you become one of those people you were taught to resent? This internal conflict is the source of self-sabotage. It is why you procrastinate on that brilliant idea. It is why you mismanage your money, even when you know better. It is why you get close to a breakthrough, only to unconsciously pull back at the last moment. One foot is on the accelerator of desire, the other is firmly on the brake of subconscious fear. And you are torn apart in the middle, burning fuel, making a lot of noise but going nowhere. You are exhausted not from the journey, but from the internal resistance to the journey itself. Here lies the most profound truth of this entire process. The first step toward freedom is not to fight the echo. You cannot outrun it. You cannot argue it into submission. The first step is simply to realize that you are not the echo. You are the one who hears it. This is the beginning of liberation. Imagine being locked in a dark room, believing the room is all that exists. Freedom does not come from clawing at the walls. It comes from the sudden, shocking realization that you are not the room. You are the presence within the room, and there is a door. Identifying the echo of lack is discovering that door. The moment you can observe a thought or a feeling without becoming it, you have stepped outside of its prison. The moment you can say, "Ah, there is that old feeling of anxiety about money again," you are no longer the anxious person. You are the silent, spacious awareness in which the anxiety is allowed to appear and ultimately to dissolve. So, this is your first practice, not an affirmation, not a visualization, something much more fundamental. It is the practice of pure listening. For 5 minutes each day, I want you to sit in silence. Do not try to clear your mind. Do not try to feel peaceful. Your only task is to become a detective of your own inner world. Your subject of investigation is money. Simply hold the concept of money in your mind and listen. Listen to the automatic thoughts that bubble up to the surface. I'll never get out of debt. I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. It's selfish to want more than I need. I have to work harder. Do not judge these thoughts. Do not try to change them. Simply notice them, and then take out a piece of paper and write them down, word for word. You are not writing a confession. You are collecting data. You are an archaeologist, gently brushing the dust off ancient artifacts to see what they are. You are mapping the patterns of the ghost in your machine. Think of your subconscious mind as a beautiful, ornate mirror. A mirror with the power to reflect back to you whatever reality you hold within. But over the years, this mirror has become caked with the dust of these limiting beliefs, these echoes of lack. The reflection it shows you, your financial reality, is distorted, dim, and grey. You have been trying to change the reflection, but you cannot. The only work is to clean the mirror. This practice of listening, of writing down your automatic thoughts, is the first gentle wipe of a cloth across that dusty surface. You are not creating anything new. You are simply removing what is false, removing what was never yours to begin with. You are exposing the surface of the mirror for the first time. Now that we have begun to identify this dust, this echo, we must go deeper. We must understand how these beliefs were constructed, how they form the very architecture of the prison you have mistaken for your home. Only by understanding the structure can we begin to dismantle it. If the echo of lack is the ghost that haunts your inner world, then your belief system is the house it lives in. It is an architecture of thought, built over a lifetime, so familiar that you no longer see the walls. You believe you are seeing the world itself, but you are not. You are looking out from the windows of a prison you helped construct. Let us examine its design. The foundation was laid in your earliest years. It is made of the words, the moods, and the financial realities of your family. Was this foundation laid with confidence and ease, or with the damp, heavy concrete of anxiety and struggle? Did your parents speak of money as a tool for joy and creation, or as a necessary evil, a source of conflict, a constant burden? This foundation is deep, and it determines the stability of the entire structure above it. Upon this foundation, the walls were erected. These are the bricks of society, culture, and education. Each brick is a lesson, a rule, a collective agreement. Bricks that say, this is the only way to succeed. Bricks that build long, narrow corridors of conventional career paths. Bricks that create low ceilings of what is considered a realistic income. You were taught to stay within these walls, that safety lies in following the floor plan everyone else follows. To venture outside the walls was to be irresponsible, foolish, a dreamer. And finally, the roof. The roof is built from the tiles of your own personal experience. Every financial failure is a cracked tile, letting in the rain of self-doubt. Every rejection is a heavy beam, adding to the weight of cynicism. Every time you tried and fell short, you added another layer, making the interior darker, making you feel more protected from the storms outside, but also blocking out the light of the sun. Now, stand in this house for a moment. Feel its atmosphere. Is it spacious and full of light, or is it cramped, cold, and dark? Can you breathe deeply, or is there a constant pressure on your chest? For many, this inner architecture is a prison whose bars are so familiar they have become invisible. And here is the most perplexing part of the human condition. We cling to our prisons. A part of you knows, with absolute certainty, that a vast, open, sunlit world exists outside these walls. Your soul yearns for it. It calls to you in quiet moments, in the pangs of desire for a different life. It is a deep, instinctual knowing that you were meant for more than these cramped rooms of limitation. Yet, another part of you resists. The ego, the guardian of the familiar, is terrified of leaving, because this prison, for all its misery, is predictable. You know its every crack, its every cold draft. You know how to survive here. The pain is a known quantity. The open world outside, that is the territory of the unknown. It holds the potential for boundless joy, but also, in the ego's mind, for catastrophic failure. What if you leave the prison only to find you cannot survive in the open? What if the sunlight is too bright, the freedom too vast? This fear keeps you chained to the familiar. You become the loyal warden of your own confinement. This internal battle, this tug-of-war between the soul's yearning for freedom and the ego's craving for safety, is the engine of stagnation. It is the reason you feel stuck. It is the deep, underlying cause of the frustration that simmers just below the surface of your daily life. But now, I offer you a truth that can shatter this entire structure. You are not the house. You are not the prisoner. You are the architect. This entire construction, which feels as solid and real as stone, is made of nothing more than solidified thought. Its foundation, its walls, its roof are all mental constructs. They have no objective reality. They are beliefs, nothing more. And because you were the architect who supervised its unconscious construction, you hold the absolute power to condemn the building. You have the right and the capacity to pick up a sledgehammer and begin the joyful work of demolition. The power is not in fighting the beliefs, but in seeing them for what they are. Optional, illusions, inherited ideas that you can choose to return to sender. The process of demolition is not loud or violent. It is a quiet, deliberate interrogation. Take the list you made, the list of automatic negative thoughts about money, the echoes. Choose one. Let us say the belief is, I have to work incredibly hard to make a decent living. This belief feels true. It feels like a law of the universe. Now, let us place it in the light of conscious inquiry. Ask the first question, and ask it with genuine curiosity, not as an attack. Is this 100% absolutely true? In all cases, for all people throughout all of time? Is it impossible for money to come easily? Have you ever heard of someone receiving an unexpected inheritance, a sudden windfall, a brilliant idea that generated wealth with seeming effortlessness? Has there ever been a time in your own life where an opportunity or a gift arrived with ease? The moment you find a single exception, the belief is no longer a law. It is just a rule, and rules can be broken. The absolute certainty of the prison wall begins to crumble. Now, ask the second question. Who taught me this? Where did this belief truly come from? Perhaps you see your father coming home late from work, exhausted, his body aching. Perhaps you hear a teacher praising effort above all else. Perhaps you see a cultural narrative that glorifies the grind. As you trace the belief back to its source, something magical happens. You depersonalize it. You realize, this isn't my truth. This is my father's truth. This is my teacher's idea. This is a story I inherited. You take it out of your core identity and see it for what it is, a hand-me-down coat that no longer fits. Third question. What has this belief cost me? Be honest. It has cost you your health, your peace of mind. It has cost you time with your loved ones. It has cost you joy, spontaneity, and creativity. It has convinced you that life must be a struggle. By tallying the cost, you begin to build a case against the belief. You see it not as a protector, but as a thief that has been robbing you of your vitality for years. And now, the final, most liberating question. Who would I be, and what would my life look like if I was simply unable to believe this thought any longer? Close your eyes for a moment and truly imagine it. If the thought, I have to work hard for money, was completely erased from your mind, what would take its place? Perhaps a sense of playfulness, a curiosity for finding the smartest, most joyful path, an openness to receiving. You would not stop taking action, but the quality of your action would change. It would shift from a desperate, grinding effort to a state of inspired, joyful flow. You would look for leverage, for elegance, for ease. By asking this question, you are not just demolishing the old wall. You are giving yourself a glimpse of the beautiful landscape that lies beyond. These beliefs are like invisible chains, linking you to a reality of limitation. You have spent your life believing they were forged from unbreakable steel. This interrogation process is like tapping on each link with a small hammer, and with each tap, you discover the truth. They are not made of steel, they are made of glass, they are fragile. They were held together only by your unquestioning belief in their strength. As you see their fragility, they shatter, one by one. The chains fall away. You have identified the echoes. You have now examined the architecture of the prison they inhabit. You have tested the walls and found them to be illusions. You hold the understanding that you are the architect. So what now? Where is the way out? The exit from this inner prison is not another belief. It is not another thought. The escape route is a portal that has been there all along, hidden beneath the noise of the mind, obscured by the echoes of lack. It is a doorway made of profound, creative and wealthy silence, and it is through that doorway we shall now pass. You have examined the prison. You have tested its walls and found them to be made of thought. Now you stand before the only exit, a door that has no handle and no keyhole, a door that cannot be forced. It is a portal made of pure silence, and it opens only when you cease to push. We live in a world that is terrified of this silence. Our civilization is built on a foundation of noise. From the moment we wake, to the glow of a screen, to the moment we fall asleep, to the drone of a television, we are immersed in a relentless cascade of information, opinion, and stimulation. Notification ping, headlines scream, advertisement plead. This external cacophony is designed for one purpose: to keep you in a state of perpetual distraction, always looking outside of yourself for the next piece of data, the next solution, the next threat. This constant outward focus fuels the internal noise generator, the worried thoughts, the endless planning, the replaying of past mistakes, the anxious projection into a hypothetical future. This is the mind's frantic attempt to make sense of the external chaos. It is a feedback loop of anxiety. The louder the world gets, the louder the mind gets. The louder the mind gets, the more desperately we seek external noise to drown out our own inner turmoil. We have become a species that runs from silence. This fear manifests as an addiction to busyness. We wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. Our calendars are filled from dawn till dusk, because an empty space in our schedule feels like a personal failure, a sign of insignificance. We believe that to be still is to be unproductive, to be lazy, to be left behind. This is the great lie of the scarcity mindset. We feel a deep, nagging guilt when we are not doing something. But what are we truly running from? We are running from ourselves. In the stillness, the uncomfortable truths begin to surface. The deep-seated loneliness, the quiet grief, the profound questions about our purpose and direction, these are the specters that haunt the silent spaces. Busyness is our preferred method of exorcism. As long as we are rushing, planning, checking, and responding, we do not have to face the vastness of our own inner world. We become human doings instead of human beings, convinced that our worth is measured by the length of our to-do lists rather than the depth of our presence. This frantic activity, this desperate hustle, is born from the echo of lack. It is the belief that if we just run fast enough, work hard enough, we can finally outrun the feeling of not enough. But it is a phantom race with no finish line, and its only prize is burnout. I am inviting you now to stop running. I am inviting you to discover that the very thing you have been avoiding holds the key to everything you seek. Silence is not empty. It is not a void. It is the womb of creation. It is the canvas upon which the masterpiece of your life is painted. All noise, all music, all language is born from silence and returns to it. All form, all matter, all of existence arises from an infinite field of formless potentiala, quantum void of pure stillness. This stillness is not the absence of something, it is the presence of everything. It is the source code of reality. We have been taught to value the currency of the world, money, status, power. But there is a far more valuable, more potent medium of exchange. It is the currency of silence. When your mind is a storm of frantic thoughts, you are broadcasting your fears and limitations out into the universe. You are shouting your problems so loudly that you cannot hear the solutions. In silence, you stop broadcasting and you start receiving. You create a space for intuition to speak. You allow the quiet whispers of inspiration to be heard, the brilliant ideas that can transform your finances, the elegant solutions to complex problems. The deep sense of peace that no amount of money can buy. These things do not arise from a noisy mind. They are born in the stillness. True wealth is not the accumulation of things. It is the realization of your connection to this infinite, silent source. Imagine your mind is a deep lake. For years, the winds of fear, worry, and ambition have blown across its surface, churning it into a constant state of turmoil. The water is murky, the sediment is stirred up, and all you can see is the chaos of the waves. The surface cannot reflect the sky. It cannot show you the truth of what lies above or what rests in its own depths. To try and force the waves to be still is to create more struggle, more agitation. You cannot fight the wind, but you can choose to sit by the shore of the lake and simply watch. This is the practice. It is a meditation without a purpose, without a goal. The only intention is to be. For just 2 minutes to start, find a place where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably with your back straight. Close your eyes. Your first instinct will be to fight your thoughts, to wrestle them into submission. Abandon this struggle. Let the thoughts come and go as they please, like clouds passing in the sky. Do not engage with them. Do not follow them. Simply let them be. Now, shift your attention. Instead of focusing on the thoughts, begin to listen for the silence that holds them. Can you hear the silence underneath the sound of your own breathing? Can you feel the stillness in the room behind the hum of a distant appliance or a car passing outside? This silence is always here. It is the background of all experience. Your thoughts are the waves, but you are not the waves. You are the deep, still water of the lake itself. As you practice this, something remarkable occurs. Without any effort on your part, the winds begin to subside. The waves become smaller. The sediment of old anxieties and frantic plans begins to gently settle on the lakebed. And for a moment, perhaps just for a single second at first, the surface of the lake becomes perfectly still, like glass. In that moment, it reflects the vast, boundless, brilliant blue sky. It reflects the infinite intelligence, the infinite abundance of the universe. This is not a mental concept. It is a direct experience. It is a taste of your true nature. This simple, purpose-free practice of sitting in silence is the most potent financial decision you will ever make. It is an investment in the currency of the spirit, and its returns are immeasurable. It is the act of returning to the source. This silence is not an escape from your life or its challenges. It is a deep, radical engagement with the very fabric of reality. By touching this inner stillness, you bring a new quality of being to everything you do. Your actions become more precise, your decisions more intuitive, your presence more calming. You stop operating from a place of frantic reaction and begin to move from a center of profound peace. And from this silence, a new faculty of awareness is born. A new perspective emerges. You begin to notice that there is a part of you that is aware of the thoughts, aware of the emotions, aware of the silence itself, yet is untouched by any of it. This is the silent observer, the watcher on the throne. And learning to abide as this presence is the next great step in reclaiming your power as the architect of your world. From the wellspring of silence, a new kind of perception begins to dawn. It is the discovery of a presence that was always there, overlooked in the noise. This is the discovery of the watcher. To understand this is to undo the most fundamental error of the human mind, the error of mistaken identity. Since your earliest days, you have been taught to fuse your sense of self, your very I, with the fleeting phenomena of your mind and body. When a thought of worry appears, you say, "I am worried." When a feeling of sadness flows through you, you say, "I am sad." When your bank account is low, you say, "I am broke." Notice the power of these three simple words, "I am this." With this simple linguistic trick, a temporary thought becomes a permanent identity. A passing emotion becomes a personal characteristic. A temporary condition becomes a life sentence. You have taken the ever-changing weather of your inner world and mistaken it for the sky itself. This is the very mechanism by which the prison of belief is rendered invisible. You do not believe you are in a prison of scarcity. You believe you are a person of scarcity. This mistaken identity is the anchor that moors you to a reality you wish to leave. It is the glue that binds you to the echoes of lack, forcing you to live out their script as if it were your own. And here lies a strange and difficult paradox. We become attached to our suffering. There is a deep, subconscious comfort in the familiar pain. To be the one who always struggles, the one who worries about money, the one who can never get ahead, these are defined roles. They are identities. They may be painful, but they are known. You know how to play this part. You know what to expect. The nervous system is conditioned to this low-grade anxiety. It has become its baseline, its version of normal. To let go of this identity is, in a very real sense, to let go of who you believe you are. And what lies on the other side of that? A vast, undefined emptiness, an unknown. The ego, the mind-made self, would rather be a defined sufferer than an undefined mystery. It will cling to the familiar story of lack with a surprising ferocity, because the dissolution of that story feels like a death. This is the internal conflict that holds you back. The conscious mind desires freedom, peace, and abundance, but the subconscious ego clings to its identity as a struggler, fearing the annihilation of the known self. This is why you may feel a deep resistance to positive change, a secret pull back into the old, familiar anxieties, even as you work to release them. But the truth is, you are not this limited, struggling self. It is a costume you have worn for so long, you have forgotten you can take it off. Beneath the costume, behind the character you have been playing, is the silent, ever-present watcher. This is your true nature. The watcher is the silent awareness that witnesses all of your experiences without ever becoming them. Think about it. There is a part of you that is aware of your thoughts. It hears the inner monologue, yet it is not the thoughts themselves. It is silent. There is a part of you that feels the sensation of joy or the pang of fear. Yet it is not the emotion, it is the space in which the emotion happens. This watcher is the common denominator of your entire life. It was there when you were a child of 5, looking at the world with wonder. It was there during your teenage years of confusion. It is here now, listening to these words. The thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and circumstances have changed 1,000 times, but the awareness that witnesses them all has never changed. It is constant, it is whole, it is pure consciousness, and it is a place of profound peace. The watcher is never broke, the watcher is never afraid, the watcher is never lacking. It is the still center of the turning wheel, the calm eye in the heart of the hurricane. The entire drama of your life, including your financial struggles, is a story happening to the character on the stage. But you are not the character. You are the audience, the silent, spacious awareness watching the play unfold. The most powerful metaphor for this truth is that of the sky and the clouds. Your true nature, the watcher, is the sky. It is vast, open, limitless, and always, always at peace. It is the space in which everything happens. Your thoughts and emotions are the clouds. Sometimes they are white and puffy, like fleeting moments of joy. Sometimes they are dark and heavy storm clouds, like periods of intense anxiety or despair. They gather, they rage, they pour rain, and then, inevitably, they pass. Throughout it all, what has happened to the sky? Nothing. The sky is not stained by the darkest cloud. The sky is not torn by the fiercest wind. The sky is not burned by the lightning. It remains untouched, unharmed, in its serene, silent majesty, simply allowing the weather to be what it is, knowing that it too shall pass. You have spent your life identifying with the clouds. You have been running around, a frantic storm system, believing yourself to be the anxiety, the worry, the lack. The invitation now is to cease this frantic identification and to rest back into your true nature as the sky, to realize that you are the vast, silent container for all of it. The storm may be raging, but you, the sky, are at peace. This realization is not just a beautiful idea. It is a capacity that can be trained and lived in every moment. This is the practical application, the art of conscious disidentification. The next time you feel a wave of financial fear, the familiar clenching in your gut, the cascade of worried thought spores, just for a second. In that pause, instead of letting the default programming run and say, "I am so anxious," make a subtle but monumental shift in your internal language. Say to yourself, "I am aware of a feeling of anxiety arising within me," or "Awareness is here, and it is noticing the presence of fearful thoughts." Feel the difference. In "I am anxious," there is no space. The self and the anxiety are one. It is a solid state of suffering. In "I am aware of anxiety," a space has been created. There is you, the awareness, the sky, and over there, at a slight distance, is the anxiety, the cloud. You are no longer fused with it. You are observing it. You have moved from being the victim of the emotion to being the witness of the emotion. And in that space between the witness and the feeling, there is freedom, there is choice, there is peace. Practice this throughout your day. I am aware of a thought of judgment. I am aware of a feeling of frustration. I am noticing the sensation of lack. This is not a denial of your feelings. It is a more accurate and empowered perception of them. By consciously cultivating the perspective of the watcher, you are shifting your identity from the transient content of your mind to the eternal, peaceful context in which it all occurs. You are withdrawing your energy and your belief from the small, fearful, constructed self and investing it in the vast, whole, and silent self that you truly are. You are no longer the pawn in the game of your thoughts. You are the stillness that surrounds the entire chessboard. And when you can rest as this silent, impartial observer, when you are no longer entangled in the drama of the passing clouds, you gain an extraordinary power. You gain the power to choose where you place your focus. You are no longer at the mercy of the weeds that have overgrown your inner landscape. You are now the calm, conscious gardener, standing in the middle of the plot, able to see what is there without judgment. And from this place of clear seeing, you can now begin the deliberate, joyful work of choosing which seeds you wish to plant. You can begin to consciously cultivate a new inner reality. You can become the architect of a new garden. Having stepped back to become the silent watcher, you are no longer lost in the drama of the passing clouds. You now stand in a place of quiet power, a place of clear seeing. From this vantage point, you look down upon the landscape of your mind and see it for what it is, a garden. Your subconscious mind is this garden. It is a plot of land of infinite fertility. It is utterly impartial, profoundly powerful, and it holds only one sacred law. It will grow without judgment, whatever you plant within it. It does not distinguish between a seed of a beautiful flower and the seed of a noxious weed. Its sole function is to receive the seed and to pour its immense creative energy into bringing it to fruition. For most of your life, you have been an unconscious gardener. You have left the gates to your garden wide open, allowing the winds of the world to blow across it at will. The seeds of fear from the nightly news, the seeds of comparison from social media, the seeds of doubt from a critical parent, the seeds of lack from a collective consciousness of anxiety have been carried on the wind and have landed in the fertile soil of your mind. And because the soil is so fertile, they have grown. They have grown into a tangled, thorny wilderness. The weeds of "I am not good enough," the weeds of "there is never enough money," the weeds of "life is a struggle." This dense undergrowth has become your inner reality, and it has choked out the light. You have spent years living in this overgrown thicket, believing it was the nature of the world. You have hacked away at the thorns with great effort, only to see them grow back, stronger and more resilient. This is the source of so much frustration on the path of personal growth. You make a decision to change, you feel a surge of inspiration, you pull out a few weeds with great determination, but a week later, you see them sprouting again. The old thought patterns, the familiar anxieties, they seem to have roots that go down to the very core of the earth. The internal conflict is one of impatience versus nature. You want a perfect manicured garden overnight. You want immediate results. But nature has its own rhythm, and the habit of a lifetime, the powerful gravitational pull to revert to what is known, is immense. It is easier to let the weeds grow. It is easier to throw the same old seeds of doubt and worry onto the ground, because you have been doing it for so long it has become an automatic reflex. The desire for a beautiful harvest is at war with the unconscious compulsion to keep planting what you have always planted. But now, everything changes. As the watcher, as the silent awareness, you are no longer lost down in the weeds. You have risen above them. You stand now as the conscious gardener. You see the land clearly. You see the weeds for what they are: unwanted, inherited growth sand. You see the rich, fertile, and empty patches of soil waiting for a new instruction. This is where you reclaim your creative power. You will now consciously and deliberately choose the seeds you wish to plant. This act is called intention. An intention is not a desperate wish. It is not a hopeful plea to an outside force. An intention is a focused, deliberate, creative act. It is a seed that contains the entire energetic blueprint of the reality you wish to cultivate. The faculty of conscious intention is your greatest gift as a human being. It is the ability to stand at the helm of your own mind and choose your direction, rather than being tossed about by the random waves of circumstance and conditioning. You are moving from being a passive victim of your inner landscape to becoming its active, loving, and powerful curator. To cultivate this garden effectively, you must understand the elements of creation. First, there is the seed itself. This is the thought, the intention, stated with clarity and precision. A vague intention is a weak seed. "I want more money" is a fuzzy, weak seed. "Creative opportunities that bring prosperity now flow to me with ease and grace" is a clear, potent, and powerful seed. It contains a specific energy, a specific direction. The seed must be whole and healthy, which means it must be a statement of what you want, not what you don't want. "I want to get out of debt" is a seed that still contains the energy of debt. "I am living in a state of financial freedom," and overflow is a seed that contains the energy of abundance. Second, there is the water. A seed planted in dry, barren ground will never germinate. The water that brings your intentions to life is emotion. It is the feeling. The subconscious mind communicates not in words, but in feelings. To simply state an intention with your intellect is to throw a seed on concrete. To state an intention and then to generate the feeling of that reality already being yours is to plant a seed in rich, moist soil. The feeling is the water that activates the blueprint within the seed and commands the fertile soil of the subconscious to begin its work. Before you can have it in your hand, you must first feel it in your heart. Third, there is the sun. The sun is your gentle, trusting attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. By returning your gentle focus to your desired reality, you provide the light and warmth for the seedling to grow. But this is a delicate balance. Too little sun, and the seedling withers from neglect. Too much sun in the form of obsessive, anxious, controlling focus will scorch the tender sprout. You cannot make a seed grow faster by digging it up every day to check on its progress. This is the energy of doubt, and it kills the very life you are trying to cultivate. You must provide the light of your faith, your trust, and then allow the mysterious process of growth to unfold in its own time. So, this is your new practice, a simple yet profoundly transformative ritual to be performed each morning. Upon waking, before the noise of the world floods your mind, take a moment to stand in the gateway of your inner garden. This is your seeding ritual. Choose one clear, powerful intention for the day. Perhaps it is, I am a magnet for wealth, and I receive it from expected and unexpected sources. Or, my relationship with money is one of joy, peace, and freedom. State this intention clearly, either out loud or in your mind. This is you, the conscious gardener, holding a perfect seed in your hand. Now, for at least 1 minute, you must water the seed. Close your eyes and feel what it would feel like if this intention were already your absolute reality. What does financial freedom feel like in your body? Is it a relaxation in your shoulders, a warmth in your chest, an openness, a sense of calm? Do not just think about the feeling. Generate it, embody it. This is the most crucial step. You are watering the seed with the life-giving emotion of its fulfillment. And then, and this is just as important, you let it go. You release the seed into the soil. You trust the process. You do not worry about it. You do not question it. You do not dig it up. You go about your day with the quiet, confident knowing that you have planted a powerful seed in fertile ground, and the universal laws of growth are now at work. You have moved from being a passive observer to an active participant in your own creation. You are no longer allowing your garden to be overrun by the weeds of the past. You are choosing, with love and with deliberation, to plant the seeds of abundance, joy, and freedom. This is the foundation of conscious creation. However, planting good seeds is a monumental step, but it is not the entire equation. For these new seeds to grow into the most vibrant, healthy, and magnificent plants imaginable, we must also enrich the very soil in which they are planted. We must improve its quality, its vitality, its very energetic signature. It is time now to move from the mechanics of planting to the magic of the soil itself. It is time to learn the art of vibrational alchemy. You have learned to stand as the watcher, the conscious gardener of your mind. You have begun the sacred work of pulling the weeds of lack and planting the deliberate seeds of abundance. This is the work of changing the content of your mind. Now, we go deeper. We go to the very substance of reality itself. We must now learn to enrich the soil of your garden, to improve the fundamental quality of your personal energy field. We must become alchemists. Both the ancient mystics and the quantum physicists have arrived at the same staggering conclusion. Everything is energy. The chair you are sitting on, the air you are breathing, the physical body you inhabit, the thoughts flickering through your mind, the very money you seek, all of it, at its most fundamental level, is not solid. It is pure energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Nothing is truly solid. Everything is a dance of energy. Your world is a vibrational symphony. The emotions you experience are not just psychological events. They are distinct vibrational frequencies that you are broadcasting out into this symphony. The emotions of fear, shame, guilt, and anxiety are slow, dense, heavy frequencies. They feel contracted in your body for a reason. They are a state of energetic contraction. The emotions of love, joy, peace, and appreciation are fast, light, expansive frequencies. They literally raise your energy. Your dominant emotional state is your personal vibrational signature. It is the note you are constantly holding in the orchestra of the universe. This leads us to one of the most misunderstood, yet powerful laws of reality. The law of like attracts like, or the law of attraction. This is not a magical trick for getting what you want. It is a fundamental law of physics, like gravity. It is a law of resonance. If you have two tuning forks of the same pitch, and you strike one, the other will begin to vibrate and hum in sympathy, even from across the room. It cannot help but respond. It is a vibrational match. So it is with you. You are a living, breathing human tuning fork, broadcasting your frequency out into the quantum field. The universe, in its impersonal, lawful way, does not give you what you want with your thoughts. It gives you what you match with your being. It reflects your dominant vibration back to you in the form of people, circumstances, and events. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If your dominant state of being is a vibration of anxiety about money, the universe can only arrange circumstances that resonate with that anxiety. Missed opportunities, unexpected bills, frustrating setbacks. It is not punishing you. It is simply matching your signal perfectly and without judgment. To attract the reality of abundance, you must first become a vibrational match to abundance. You must learn to broadcast the frequency of wealth before the wealth can appear. You must hum the note of prosperity and let prosperity resonate with you. Herein lies the great challenge, the internal conflict that can make this work feel so difficult. Your body and mind are creatures of habit. They have become conditioned, even addicted to your old frequency. If you have spent years living in a state of stress and worry, your body's cells have become accustomed to the chemical bath of cortisol and adrenaline. This low-frequency state has become your energetic baseline. It feels normal. It feels like home, even if it is a miserable home. When you first begin to deliberately cultivate feelings of joy or peace, it can feel strange, foreign, even inauthentic. Your nervous system, accustomed to high alert, might interpret a state of calm as being unsafe. This is the gravitational pull of your past. As you make an effort to raise your vibration, the old energetic signature acts like an anchor, trying to drag you back down to the familiar territory of lack. It is a form of withdrawal from the chemical addiction to negative emotions. This is why a positive mood can feel fleeting, and why it's so easy to get pulled back into old patterns by a single negative event or interaction. You are not just changing your mind, you are reconditioning every cell in your body to hold a new, higher frequency. This is the work of vibrational alchemy. The ancient alchemists sought to turn lead into gold. This was always a metaphor for a deeper, internal process. The lead is the dense, heavy energy of fear, shame, and lack. The gold is the radiant, light, and incorruptible energy of love, peace, and abundance. You are the alchemist. Your laboratory is your own consciousness. Your work is to consciously transmute the lead of your lower emotions into the gold of your higher states of being. The most effective way to understand this is to see yourself as a powerful radio transmitter. Every moment of every day, you are broadcasting a signal. That signal is the sum of your beliefs and, most importantly, your feelings. If you are broadcasting on the AM band of scarcity, a frequency of worry, doubt, and frustration, you can only ever tune into stations that play the songs of lack. You can try with all your might to hear the beautiful music playing on the FM band of abundance, but it is impossible. You are not tuned to the right frequency. The great error is to try and change the world, to try and force the radio to play a different song. The work of the alchemist is to ignore the song that is playing and instead to go to the transmitter itself and deliberately change the frequency you are broadcasting. Once you change your signal to the clear, high frequency of Abundance FM, the station must change. The songs of prosperity, ease, and opportunity must play. It is the law. So how do you change your broadcast? How do you perform this alchemy? The practice is one of deliberate vibrational elevation. It is not about pretending to be happy when you are not. It is about strategically and lovingly engaging in activities that naturally and effortlessly elevate your energetic state. This is your alchemy toolkit. For you, it might be music, putting on a specific piece of music that bypasses your critical mind and speaks directly to your soul, making you feel expansive and heroic. For another, it might be nature, walking barefoot on the earth, leaning against a strong tree, or simply watching the sunset, allowing the coherent, harmonious frequency of the natural world to recalibrate your own. It might be playing with a pet and allowing yourself to fully receive their unconditional, uncomplicated love. It might be losing yourself in a creative act, painting, writing, dancing, where time disappears and you are connected to a flow of pure, joyful energy. It might be sincere, heartfelt laughter with a dear friend. Your task is to become a connoisseur of your own joy. Identify these activities, your personal vibrational activators, and then schedule them into your life as if they were the most important appointments in your calendar, because they are. When you engage in these practices, the key is to bring your awareness into your body. Notice the physical sensations, the shift from contraction to expansion, the feeling of lightness in your chest, the tingling in your hands. This is not just a mood, it is a measurable physical shift in your energetic frequency. You are literally turning lead into gold within your own nervous system. You are the alchemist, learning to master your own inner state, independent of outer conditions. You are learning to choose your frequency first, knowing that reality must, by law, rearrange itself to match your new broadcast. You are no longer waiting for the world to make you feel good. You are making yourself feel good and watching the world transform in response. This is the secret to all true manifestation. It is an inside-out job. As you become more adept at this practice, you will find that your baseline frequency begins to rise. The old states of lack will have less of a hold on you. The golden frequency of abundance will start to feel more and more like home. While there are many tools in the alchemist's kit, there is one practice that is considered the master key. It is the philosopher's stone of this inner work. It is the most direct and powerful way to recalibrate your energy, to tune your signal directly to the frequency of the universe's endless supply. It is the catalyst that accelerates the entire process of turning lead into gold. This master key, this ultimate vibrational tuner, is the profound power of gratitude. If vibrational alchemy is the science of changing your energetic state, then gratitude is its simplest and most powerful catalyst. It is the master key that unlocks the highest frequencies of abundance. We have been taught to think of gratitude as a social pleasantry, a polite thank you that we offer after receiving a gift. This is a profound misunderstanding of one of the most potent creative forces in the universe. Gratitude is not a reaction. It is a declaration. It is not an effect. It is a cause. To grasp this is to shift from being a passive recipient of life's fortunes to an active creator of them. Your mind, when conditioned by lack, operates as a hyper-vigilant scanner for what is wrong. It endlessly searches for problems to solve, for gaps to fill, for threats to neutralize. It magnifies deficiencies. The smallest unpaid bill can occupy your entire mental space, while the vast background of what is functioning perfectly goes completely unnoticed. This mental habit generates the corresponding low-frequency emotions of anxiety, frustration, and helplessness. It is a self-perpetuating cycle of misery. Gratitude is a radical and deliberate reversal of this process. It is a conscious act of rebellion against the tyranny of the inner critic and the ghost of scarcity. It is the decision to withdraw your attention from the one thing that is missing and to place it, with intention, on the 99 things that are already present. Herein lies the battlefield of the internal conflict. As you sit with the weight of real-world pressures, mounting debt, job insecurity, the rising cost of living, the instruction to be grateful can feel not only impossible but insulting. A part of you screams, grateful for what? For this struggle? For this fear? This resistance is natural. It is the voice of the ego, the voice of the conditioned mind, fighting to validate its own narrative of hardship. The scarcity mindset must continually find evidence of lack in order to justify its own existence. It will point to all the reasons why gratitude is illogical, naive, or even irresponsible. It will tell you that you must first solve all your problems, and then you can afford the luxury of feeling grateful. This is the ultimate deception. It is telling you that you must first receive the harvest before you will tend the soil. But the universe does not operate this way. The soil must first be enriched, and gratitude is the supreme nutrient. It is the single most powerful way to signal to the universe that you are aligned with the frequency of abundance. This is the core message. Gratitude is the frequency you must broadcast to attract more experiences that match it. Think of it as a cosmic acknowledgement. When you genuinely feel gratitude for the food on your table, no matter how simple, you are not just being polite. You are sending out a clear, high-frequency signal into the quantum field that says, I am a person who is provided for. I have enough. I am sustained. The universe, which operates on the flawless law of resonance, receives this signal of enoughness and is compelled by its own nature to send you more experiences of being provided for. Conversely, when you focus on what you lack, you broadcast a powerful signal of not enough, and the universe dutifully mirrors this back to you as more lack. This is why waiting to be grateful until you have everything you want is a losing strategy. You must find things to be grateful for now, in your current reality, to create the energetic foundation for your future reality. It is not about pretending you don't have problems. It is about acknowledging that your blessings are more real and more powerful than your problems. It is a shift in focus from the hole in the donut to the donut itself. Imagine your energy field as a powerful magnet. Every thought and emotion you have alters the polarity and strength of this magnet. The emotions of fear, envy, and worry create a weak, erratic, magnetic field that repels the very opportunities you desire. It pushes wealth away. The emotion of gratitude, however, transforms your entire being into a coherent, powerful, and highly attractive electromagnet. Every moment you spend immersed in a genuine feeling of appreciation, you are strengthening this magnetic field. You are calibrating it to the precise frequency of abundance. You begin to draw things into your life. The right people, the helpful synchronicities, the creative ideas, the unexpected checks. They are not pulled to you by your desperate wanting. They are pulled to you by the powerful, silent, magnetic hum of your grateful heart. This is not just a spiritual concept, it is a biological one. The act of practicing gratitude literally rewires your brain. It strengthens the neural pathways associated with positive emotions and weakens those associated with negative ones. It physically trains your brain to get better at noticing the good. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to notice the quiet, everyday miracles that were always there, but were invisible to your scarcity-tuned perception. You change your brain, you change your energy, and you change your life. This brings us to a simple, grounding, and transformative practice: the Financial Gratitude Journal. It is a tool to make this high concept a lived, daily reality. Each evening, before you sleep, take a notebook dedicated solely to this purpose. Your task is to write down 3 specific things related to your financial or material world for which you are genuinely grateful. The key is to be specific and to look for the abundance that is already hiding in plain sight. Do not just write, "My house." Write, "I am so grateful for the warmth and comfort of my bed, a safe haven from the world." Do not just write food. Write, "I am deeply grateful for the delicious hot coffee I enjoyed this morning, a simple luxury that brought me so much pleasure." You can be grateful for the internet connection that allows you to learn and grow. You can be grateful for the clothes that keep you warm. You can be grateful for the physical strength that allows you to work. You can even find gratitude in challenges. I am grateful for that unexpected bill because it forced me to look at my finances more consciously and take control. After writing each one, do not rush to the next. Pause, close your eyes. For 30 seconds, relive the feeling of gratitude for that specific thing. Feel the warmth, the comfort, the pleasure. Let the emotions saturate your body. This is the act of charging your magnet. As you cultivate a heart of gratitude, a profound shift occurs. The frantic, anxious energy of lack cannot coexist in the same space as the calm, expansive energy of appreciation. One will inevitably displace the other. Gratitude starves fear. You begin to walk through your day with a new sense of quiet confidence and peace. The world begins to feel like a fundamentally friendly and supportive place, rather than a hostile and competitive one. And from this state of sustained gratitude, another crucial realization begins to quietly dawn within you. You begin to feel, perhaps for the first time, that these blessings are not just random flukes of luck. You begin to suspect that you are not just fortunate, but that you are in fact worthy of them. This growing sense of deservingness is the natural outcome of a grateful heart. The practice of gratitude systematically heals the deep inner wounds of unworthiness, clearing the path for you to not only receive more, but to hold it, to grow it, and to enjoy it without guilt or fear. It is the bridge that leads us directly to the next essential destination on our journey, the mirror of deservingness itself. As you cultivate a grateful heart, you begin to tune your energy to the frequency of abundance. But there is another, deeper layer we must address. It is a silent, hidden gatekeeper that stands guard over the flow of prosperity into your life. You may have the right frequency and the best intentions, but if this gatekeeper does not grant permission, success will remain tantalizingly out of reach. This gatekeeper is your sense of deservingness. Its inverse, the feeling of unworthiness, is perhaps the most powerful saboteur of human potential. It is the root cause of so much financial self-destruction. You have likely experienced its subtle work. Things begin to go well for you. An exciting opportunity appears. You receive a promotion or a financial windfall. And then, just as you are about to reach a new level of success, something goes wrong. You make a foolish mistake. You procrastinate on a crucial task. You pick an argument with a supportive partner. You squander the money on frivolous things. From the outside, it looks like bad luck or poor judgment. But from the inside, it is the work of the saboteur. A deep, unconscious program running in the background has determined that you have reached your upper limit of deserved success, and it must now pull you back down to the familiar territory of struggle. This program is the wound of unworthiness. This wound is not your fault. It was inflicted upon you long ago. It is a collection of energetic scars left by 1,000 tiny cuts. It is the echo of a parent who, in their own pain, told you that you were being too much or not good enough. It is the residue of a school system that graded and ranked you, teaching you that your value was conditional and based on performance. It is the legacy of cultural or religious conditioning that may have equated holiness with poverty and wealth with moral corruption, creating a deep internal conflict where wanting more feels fundamentally wrong. It is the shame from your own past failures, the mistakes you have not yet forgiven yourself for, which you carry as evidence of your inherent inadequacy. All these experiences created a core belief, a silent piece of code buried deep in your operating system that whispers, "Abundance is for other people, not for you. You don't deserve it." And as long as this program runs, you will unconsciously find ways to prove it right, rejecting the very success you consciously crave. The most powerful way to visualize this is to see the universe as a vast, magnificent river of abundance. This river flows constantly, endlessly, carrying with it everything you could ever desire: love, health, creativity, joy, and wealth. It is inherently generous and flows impartially towards all. It does not choose who is worthy of its gifts. Now, imagine that long ago you began building a dam across the section of the river that flows to you. Each time someone made you feel small, you added a stone of shame. Each time you failed, you added a stone of guilt. Each time you compared yourself to another and felt lacking, you added a heavy stone of envy. Over the years, this has become a massive, formidable dam of unworthiness. Consciously, you stand on the banks of your dry riverbed, praying for rain, asking the universe to send you abundance. You do the work, you set the intentions, you try to be grateful. But unconsciously, you are working tirelessly to maintain the dam. You are patching its leaks with new evidence of your inadequacy and reinforcing its walls with self-criticism, terrified that if the river were to be released, the sheer force of its goodness would be a flood you couldn't handle. The internal conflict is immense. You are crying out for water while simultaneously ensuring you can never receive it. Now, you must hear this with every cell in your body. You must allow this truth to bypass your cynical mind and land directly in your heart. Your worthiness is not something you have to earn. It is not something you achieve through good deeds or hard work. It is not granted to you upon reaching a certain level of success or moral purity. Your worthiness is your birthright. It is absolute, unconditional, and non-negotiable. Look to nature. Does a tree have to prove it is worthy of the sunlight before it is allowed to grow? Does a star have to pass a test before it is allowed to shine? Does a mountain have to justify its existence to be worthy of its majesty? Of course not. Their existence is their worthiness. And so it is with you. You are a unique expression of the same universal intelligence that creates galaxies and rainforests. Your existence is your qualification. The very fact that you are here, breathing, experiencing, living, is all the proof of worthiness you will ever need. It is not tied to your bank balance, your job title, your past mistakes, or your future potential. It is intrinsic. It is a fundamental condition of your being. You were born worthy. You are worthy now. You will be worthy forever. Any thought or feeling to the contrary is a lie. It is a scar from a past wound, but it is not the truth of who you are. To heal this wound, we must bring this absolute truth from the level of intellect to the level of deep cellular knowing. We must confront the lie directly. This requires a practice of profound self-love and courage. It is called mirror work. Find a mirror. It can be in your bathroom or a small one you hold in your hand. Your task is not to look at your appearance, see not to judge the lines on your face or the color of your hair. Your task is to look past all of that and gaze directly into your own eyes. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. They are the portal to the watcher, the true self that lies beneath the conditioned personality. Take a deep breath, and now, speaking out loud, clearly and gently, say the words, "I am worthy. I am worthy of all the love, joy, and success that life has to offer." Say it again. As you do, notice what happens. You may feel an immediate, visceral resistance. You may feel the urge to look away, to laugh uncomfortably, to cry, or to dismiss it as nonsense. This is the unworthiness surfacing. It is the saboteur, the wounded part of you, recoiling from the light of this powerful truth. Do not run from this discomfort. It is the sign that healing is happening. Stay with it. Keep looking into your own eyes. See the innocent child behind them who was taught this lie. And with all the compassion you can muster, say it again and again. You are worthy. I am worthy. I am deeply and completely worthy of abundance in all its forms. Repeat it until something inside of you softens, until you feel a click, a shift, a small opening, a moment of truce in the inner war. Do this every day. It is medicine for the soul. Dismantling the dam of unworthiness is the most loving and liberating work you will ever do. Each time you declare your worthiness in the mirror, you are removing one of the heavy stones. The structure begins to weaken. A trickle of water begins to seep through. As you continue, the trickle becomes a stream, and the stream becomes a current. The river of universal abundance begins to flow into your life again, naturally and without effort. You stop unconsciously pushing away compliments, opportunities, and help. Your energy field shifts from one of closed-off resistance to one of open, graceful receptivity. You become a vessel that is ready to be filled. And once this worthy, open vessel has been prepared, you are finally ready to use one of the most powerful creative tools available to a conscious being. You are ready to move beyond simply clearing the old and to begin the exhilarating work of designing the new. You are ready to take the blueprint of your highest desires and project it onto the screen of your mind with the full force of your newfound belief and deservingness. You are ready to master the art of visualization. You have faced the echoes of lack and the architecture of your inner prison. You have discovered the currency of silence and the freedom of the watcher. You have begun to tend your inner garden and to alchemize your own energy. You have stood before the mirror and reclaimed your birthright of worthiness. Now, with this open, worthy, and receptive heart, you are ready to wield one of the most sublime and powerful faculties of consciousness, the creative imagination. Your imagination is not a frivolous tool for idle daydreaming. It is the womb of reality. It is the preview theater of creation. It is a quantum workshop where you can build the prototype of your future before it manifests in the physical world. The most profound secret about this inner world is that your brain and your nervous system do not make a clear distinction between a vividly imagined experience and a real physical experience. When you close your eyes and imagine, with full sensory detail, biting into a sour lemon, your mouth will actually produce saliva. Your body responds to the image as if it were real. When an athlete mentally rehearses a perfect performance, their muscles fire in subtle ways, carving neural pathways for success as if they were physically practicing. They are creating a memory of a future event. This is the mechanism we will now engage, not for tasting lemons or winning races, but for scripting the entire reality of your financial well-being. As we step into this practice, an internal conflict will almost certainly arise. A debate will begin between two parts of you. The first is the inner cynic, the rational, logical mind. It will tell you this is foolish, childish, a waste of time. It will say, reality is what it is. Closing your eyes and pretending won't pay the bills. This voice is conditioned by a world that values only external effort, sweat, and grind. It is the voice of the prison warden, trying to convince you that dreaming of escape is pointless. Listen to this voice, acknowledge its concern for your safety and practicality, and then gently set it aside. The second voice is that of the inner mystic, the creative, intuitive soul. This part of you has always known the power of dreams. It senses, with a deep and quiet certainty, that what is held in consciousness must eventually express itself in form. It understands that everything ever created by human hands, every skyscraper, every symphony, every piece of technology first existed as a sustained image in someone's imagination. This is the voice we will now empower. We will let the mystic take the director's chair. The core message here is to understand the crucial difference between passive daydreaming and active creative visualization. Daydreaming is often an escape, rooted in a feeling of lack. It is a wistful, wouldn't it be nice if, that provides temporary relief, but holds no creative power because it is tethered to the belief that the desire is separate from you. Creative visualization is a focused, disciplined, and powerful act of creation. It is rooted in the feeling of deservingness and the knowledge that you are the architect of your world. You are not wistfully hoping, you are deliberately rehearsing. The true secret to this practice, the key that unlocks its power, is not in the clarity of the images, but in the intensity of the feeling. Your subconscious mind, the fertile garden, is not moved by pictures, it is moved by emotion. The goal of visualization is to generate the emotional signature of your desired reality so completely that your body believes it is happening right now. You are aiming to feel the relief, the joy, the freedom, the security today before there is any external evidence for it. By doing so, you are becoming a vibrational match to that reality, commanding the law of resonance to bring it into your life. You are writing the script, and your feeling state is the ink. Imagine your mind is a grand movie theater. For most of your life, the projector has been stuck on a loop, playing an old, grainy, black and white film. The title of this film is The Story of My Struggle. It's filled with scenes of worry, of missed opportunities, of frustrating setbacks. You, the watcher, have seen this movie so many times that you know every line by heart. You believe it is a documentary. You believe it is the only film in existence. The practice of creative visualization is the act of consciously walking up to the projection booth. You thank the old film for the lessons it taught you. You gently remove it from the projector and you put it on a shelf. Then, you pick up a new film canister. The title on this one reads, My Life of Abundant Ease and Joy. This film is shot in vibrant, breathtaking color. The soundtrack is magnificent. The scenes depict you living in your desired reality. You thread this new film into the projector. You dim the lights and you watch. Your task is not to watch as a detached critic, but to become so absorbed in the film that you forget you are in a theater. You merge with the character on the screen. You feel what they feel. You are no longer just watching success. You are experiencing the state of it. This is your practical application. The 10-minute reality rehearsal. Set aside 10 minutes each day where you will not be disturbed. This is a sacred appointment with your future self. Sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep, slow breaths, and with each exhale, let go of the day's concerns. Let your body relax. Now, begin to build the scene. Do not just see it. Live it. If your desire is financial freedom, what does that actually look like? Are you sitting at a cafe in the middle of a Tuesday, feeling utterly relaxed, knowing all your bills are paid? Are you generously paying for a loved one's meal, feeling the warmth of joy in your chest? Are you looking at your online bank account, seeing a number that gives you a profound sense of peace and security? Engage all of your senses. What can you hear? The sound of laughter, the ocean, peaceful silence. What can you smell? Freshly brewed coffee, the scent of a new car, the salt in the air. What are you touching? The steering wheel of your dream car, the keys to your new home. Most importantly, anchor the feeling. What is the dominant emotion? Is it relief, freedom, joy, security, peace? Find that core feeling and let it expand from your heart to fill your entire body. Let every cell vibrate with this new reality. And finally, Before you open your eyes, end the session with profound gratitude. Feel a wave of sincere appreciation for this experience, as if you are looking back on a cherished memory. Say, "Thank you, it is done." This seals your vision with the most powerful creative frequency in the universe. Through this daily rehearsal, you are doing something extraordinary. You are creating the neurological, biological, and energetic template for your new life. You are laying down the tracks for the train of physical reality to travel upon. You are drawing a detailed map for the universe to follow. But a map, no matter how detailed, is not the journey. A blueprint, no matter how brilliant, is not the building. Your inner work has created the powerful magnetic and energetic conditions for success. You have cleared the path. Now, the universe waits for you to collaborate with it in the physical world. It waits for you to begin walking. However, the action it requires of you is not the frantic, fear-driven struggle of the past. It is an entirely new way of moving, a new way of doing. It is the graceful and powerful dance of inspired action. You have now done the profound inner work. You have cleared the inner landscape, planted new seeds of intention, and tuned your being to the frequency of abundance. You have rehearsed your success in the theater of your mind and claimed your worthiness to receive it. The energetic blueprint is complete. The magnetic conditions are set. Now, we must build the bridge from the inner world of being to the outer world of doing. For the universe does not just respond to your stillness, it delights in dancing with your movement. Creation is a collaboration, but the quality of your action, the energy from which you move, is the single most important factor that determines whether your dance with life will be a clumsy, exhausting struggle or a graceful, effortless waltz. We must now learn to distinguish between the two fundamental modes of action, the desperate hustle and the inspired flow. For most of your life, you have been taught to value the desperate hustle. Our culture glorifies it. It is the gospel of no days off, of rising and grinding, of pushing your mind and body to their breaking point in the pursuit of a goal. The hustle is fueled by the raw, volatile energy of fear. It is the physical manifestation of the scarcity mindset. It is born from the core belief that the universe is indifferent, that you are alone, and that if you want something to happen, you must force it into existence through sheer, relentless effort. The desperate hustle feels frantic. It is an energy of pushing, striving, and controlling. It is a contracted state, tight in the chest, shallow in the breath. Its inner monologue is, "I have to do more. I'm not doing enough. I'm falling behind." It is the energy of swimming against a powerful current, exhausting yourself with every stroke, making minimal progress, and secretly fearing you will drown. When you act from this place, your actions are loud, needy, and energetically repellent. People can feel the desperation in your emails, in your voice, in your presence. It pushes away the very opportunities you are chasing. Burnout is not an unfortunate side effect of the hustle. It is its inevitable and logical conclusion. Now, consider an entirely different way of moving through the world. This is the way of inspired action. Inspired action is not born from fear, but from the stillness you have so carefully cultivated. It does not arise from a frantic mind, but from a quiet intuition. It is not a push, but a pull. It is the universe tapping you on the shoulder and whispering, "Now, go here, say this, try this." Inspired action feels calm, clear, and often effortless. It feels like the next logical step, so obvious that you wonder why you didn't see it before. It is an expansive energy, open in the chest, deep in the breath. Its inner monologue is not a command, but a quiet knowing, "This feels right." It is the energy of aligning your small boat with the great, invisible current of the river and allowing its immense power to carry you forward with speed and grace. When you act from this place of inspiration, your actions are calm, confident, and magnetically attractive. There is no neediness in them, only a quiet certainty. People are drawn to this energy. Doors open, synchronicities occur. The right people and resources appear as if by magic, because you are no longer fighting the flow of life. You are moving in perfect harmony with it. The great spiritual journey in the world of work and finance is the migration from the land of hustle to the land of flow. But your mind, conditioned by society, will resist this. The ego is addicted to the feeling of effort. It believes that if an action is easy, it cannot be valuable. It will scream at you, "Don't just sit there, do something," when you are waiting for clarity. The soul, however, whispers, "Don't just do something, sit there." It knows that the most powerful actions are born from stillness. Your work is to learn to trust the whisper of the soul over the scream of the ego. To do this, you must become a connoisseur of your own inner state, a detective of your own motivation. Before you take a significant action, before you launch the product, send the proposal, make the phone call, you must learn to practice the sacred pause and ask yourself two simple but life-altering questions. First, from where does this impulse to act arise? Is it coming from a place of fear and lack? Am I doing this because I am afraid of what will happen if I don't? Is it driven by a need to prove myself, to force a result, to control an outcome? This is the signature of the desperate hustle. Or is this impulse arising from a place of quiet confidence and inspiration? Does it feel like a genuine, exciting idea? Is it a creative urge? Does it feel like a response to a clear inner nudge? This is the signature of inspired action. Second, and most importantly, how does the thought of this action feel in my body? Your body is the most honest instrument you possess. It cannot lie. As you consider the action, does your body feel heavy? Does your chest tighten? Do your shoulders tense up? Does it feel like a chore, a heavy weight you have to lift? This is your body's wisdom, telling you that this action is out of alignment. It is a struggle against the current. It is lead. Conversely, does the thought of this action feel light? Does it create a sense of expansion in your chest? Does it feel exciting? Or perhaps even just quietly peaceful and right? This feeling of lightness, of expansion, is the compass of your soul. It is your infallible guidance system, pointing you toward the path of least resistance and greatest power. It is gold. This leads to the simple daily practice of the sacred pause. Before you act, especially when you feel a sense of urgency and pressure, stop. Take 3 conscious, deep breaths. Bring your awareness out of the frantic thoughts in your head and into the feeling space of your body. Ask the questions, is this fear or is this inspiration? Is this heavy or is this light? Wait for the answer. The answer will not be a complex analysis. It will be a simple feeling, a yes or a no, a green light or a red light. Learning to honor this inner traffic signal, especially when it tells you to wait when your mind wants to go, is a master skill of co-creating with the universe. It is the art of perfect timing. This does not mean you will sit and do nothing forever. It means your actions become potent, precise, and powerful. You may find you work fewer hours but accomplish 10 times more because every action you take is amplified by the full support of the universal flow. The metaphor is simple. Imagine you are the captain of a sailboat. The desperate hustler is the one who, on a windless day, tries to move the boat by frantically rowing with a single oar, going in circles, sweating and cursing their lack of progress. Or they turn on a loud, inefficient engine, burning precious fuel to fight against the wind and the waves. The master of inspired action, however, studies the wind. They wait patiently for the breeze. They may see other boats rushing about, but they remain calm. Then, when they feel the first gentle stirrings of the right wind, they do not row harder. They simply, calmly raise their sails. A small action raising the sails leverages a vast, invisible force. The boat does not just move, it flies across the water with a grace and speed the hustler can only dream of. Your inner work has prepared the boat. Your intuition is your ability to feel the wind. Your inspired actions are the act of raising the sails. One of the most powerful sails you can raise, one that catches the winds of prosperity more effectively than almost any other, is based on a simple principle of universal physics. For energy to flow to you, energy must flow from you. The universe abhors a vacuum, but it also abhors a stagnant pond. To receive, you must give. And this brings us to the sacred law of circulation. As you learn to move in the world with the grace of inspired action, you align yourself with the great flow of the universe. This alignment brings you to a deeper understanding of one of its most fundamental laws, the law of circulation. In the cosmos, there is no such thing as stagnant wealth. Energy, to remain vital and alive, must move. It must flow. The blood in your veins must circulate. The tides of the ocean must ebb and flow. The air in your lungs must be exchanged with every breath. Any system where energy is hoarded, where flow ceases, begins to decay. Wealth, which is nothing more than a symbol for the universal energy of sustenance and opportunity, is subject to this exact same law. To experience a continuous state of abundance, you must become a conscious and willing participant in its circulation. You must allow it to flow not just to you, but through you. This requires mastering the balanced and beautiful art of both giving and receiving. Most of us have created blockages in this flow, usually in one of two ways. The first blockage is the way of the clenched fist. This is the person who is terrified to give. They operate from a deep and abiding belief in scarcity. They hoard their money, their time, their knowledge, and their affection, believing that there is a finite supply and that letting any of it go will result in a permanent loss. Their every action is governed by the fear of not enough. Their energetic signature is that of a stagnant pond, murky and lifeless. They may desperately want more to flow in, but by refusing to let anything flow out, they have dammed the river from both directions. The universe cannot give to a hand that is clenched shut. The second blockage is far more common, more subtle, and often disguised as a virtue. This is the way of the leaky bucket. This is the person who gives constantly, almost compulsively, but is deeply uncomfortable with receiving. They are the first to offer help, to pay for lunch, to give away their time and energy, often to the point of their own depletion and resentment. But when the flow attempts to return to them, they deflect it. When given a compliment, they diminish it. Oh, it was nothing. When offered a gift, they feel an immediate sense of awkwardness or obligation, as if they haven't earned it. When someone offers to help them, they insist, "No, I'm fine," seeing it as a sign of weakness to accept. These individuals have built a dam on the receiving side of their lives. This pattern is not born of true generosity, but of a deep-seated feeling of unworthiness. They feel valuable only when they are in the role of the giver. To be the receiver makes them feel undeserving or indebted. Both the clenched fist and the leaky bucket, though they appear to be opposites, are rooted in the same fundamental fear and create the same result. They interrupt the natural, healthy circulation of abundance. The core truth you must integrate is this: giving and receiving are not two separate actions. They are a single, indivisible process. They are like the two banks of a great river. A river cannot exist with only a left bank or only a right bank. It is the dynamic interplay between the two that creates the channel through which the water can flow. Giving creates the energetic vacuum that pulls receiving towards it. It is an act of faith, a declaration to the universe that you trust in its infinite supply. Receiving, in turn, fills your vessel, giving you more to contribute, more to share, more to pour back into the world. To master your financial reality, you must become an equally graceful giver and an equally graceful receiver. You must learn to stand with your arms open, willing to let the energy of abundance flow from you with generosity and flow to you with gratitude, without obstruction. Let us use an even more intimate metaphor, your own breath. In this very moment, your life is sustained by the rhythmic exchange of your breath. Inhaling is receiving. It is taking in the life-giving oxygen from the world around you. Exhaling is giving. It is releasing what you no longer need, contributing carbon dioxide back to the plants that sustain all life. Now, try to do only one. Try to only inhale, to only receive. You fill your lungs, and then you hold. Immediately, you feel pressure, discomfort, and a rising panic. Life ceases. You are hoarding the very thing you need, and in the hoarding, you suffocate. Now, try to only exhale, to only give. You empty your lungs, and then you refuse to take another breath. Immediately, you feel a desperate weakness, a collapsing, a void. Life ceases. Your very existence in this moment is proof of the law of circulation. Life is not in the inhale or the exhale. Life is in the ceaseless, rhythmic, graceful flow between the two. So it is with the energy of wealth. Hoarding it suffocates your spirit. Giving it away to the point of depletion collapses your ability to function. Your financial peace is found in the rhythm. The practice, then, is to consciously repair the blockages in your own flow. First, if you recognize in yourself the pattern of the clenched fist, the fear of giving, your practice is one of conscious release. Start small. The next time you buy a coffee, pay for the person behind you in line and leave before they can thank you. When you have a meal, leave a slightly more generous tip than you normally would, feeling the joy of that anonymous gift. Share a valuable piece of information or a helpful contact with someone without any thought of what you might get in return. The goal is to break the fearful attachment to what you have and to experience the expansive joy of letting energy flow from you. Second, and for many, this is the more difficult practice. If you recognize yourself as the leaky bucket, your practice is one of graceful receiving. You must train yourself to allow the universe's gifts to land. The next time someone pays you a compliment, your task is to resist every urge to deflect or diminish it. Take a deep breath, look the person in the eye, smile, and say, simply and sincerely, "Thank you." That is all. Feel the warmth of their words as a genuine gift. When a friend offers to help you with a task, resist the automatic, "I'm fine." Instead, practice saying, "Thank you. I would really appreciate that." Let yourself be supported. Allow yourself to be filled. You are not being weak. You are honoring the other person's desire to give and allowing the river of life to flow unimpeded. By becoming a master of this sacred rhythm, you align yourself with the prosperous, generative, and joyful nature of the universe itself. You cease to be a stagnant pond of fear or a depleted, empty vessel. You become a clear and open channel, a conduit through which the abundance of the cosmos can flow with power and grace. As this river begins to move through you, it will naturally encounter and begin to erode any old, stagnant energies that have been blocking its path. One of the largest and heaviest forms of this stagnant energy in many lives is the energetic weight of debt. Debt represents a profound imbalance in the flow, a place where receiving has happened without a corresponding outflow. To truly free the river and allow it to flow with its full magnificent force, we must now turn our attention to consciously dissolving these heavy burdens from our past. As the river of abundance begins to flow through you, thanks to the balanced dance of giving and receiving, it may encounter obstacles. It may run up against large, heavy boulders that have been lodged in the riverbed for years, disrupting the current and creating turbulent, stagnant pools. One of the largest of these boulders, for many people, is the energetic weight of debt. We must be very clear. Debt is not merely a set of numbers on a spreadsheet or a series of legal obligations. It is a potent, energetic reality. It is a form of heavy, trapped energy from your past that exerts a powerful gravitational pull on your present. The feeling of being in debt is a distinct, low-frequency vibration. It is the feeling of being burdened, of being chased, of being perpetually behind. It is a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety that underlies all of your thoughts and decisions. This emotional state is a powerful broadcast into the universe, a ceaseless signal of not enough and I owe, which can only attract more circumstances that validate that feeling. The numbers on the page are not the true prison. The real prison is the energy of shame, guilt, and fear that you have attached to those numbers. This creates a debilitating internal conflict. There is the conscious you, the part that desires freedom, peace, and the ability to build a beautiful future. But it feels hopelessly trapped, buried under the weight of past decisions. A profound sense of shame often accompanies debt. You may hide it from your loved ones, you avoid looking at the statements. You live with a secret fear of being exposed as irresponsible or as a failure. This shame is the primary obstacle. It prevents you from facing the situation with clarity and power. It feeds a vicious cycle. The shame makes you avoid the reality of the debt. The avoidance allows the debt to grow worse through interest and neglect, and the worsening situation creates even deeper shame. You feel like you are trying to run a marathon with a heavy anchor chained to your leg. You expend enormous amounts of energy just to stay afloat, leaving you with little to no energy for creating the abundant life you truly desire. To dissolve this heavy boulder, we must not attack it with force. We must change its very composition. We must perform an act of alchemy upon the debt itself, transforming it from a source of shame into a neutral energy exchange that is simply waiting for completion. This requires a radical reframing of your entire story about the debt. Instead of looking at your debt with hatred and resentment, I invite you, just for a moment, to look at it with a different kind of awareness. Ask yourself, what did this debt provide for me? That student loan that feels so oppressive, no, it provided you with an education, with new skills, with life experiences and friendships that shaped who you are. It was an investment in your own potential. That mortgage that creates so much anxiety provided a home, a sanctuary, a place of safety and comfort for you and your family. It has held your laughter, your tears, and your dreams. That credit card debt that you accumulated during a difficult period, perhaps, it provided food when the cupboards were bare, or allowed you to handle an emergency you were unprepared for. It served a purpose. It was a tool that helped you survive. This is not about excusing financial irresponsibility. It is about neutralizing the emotional charge of shame and blame. When you can look at your debt and say, with sincerity, I am grateful for the home this mortgage provided, and I am now joyfully completing the energy exchange, the debt ceases to be a monster. It ceases to be an enemy. It becomes a simple, neutral agreement from your past. Its power over you dissolves. Its emotional weight evaporates. It becomes a task to be managed, not a demon to be fought. Imagine you have been unknowingly carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone is a debt, a past financial mistake. You have been trying to climb the mountain of abundance, wondering why you are so exhausted, why the climb is so difficult, why others seem to pass you with ease. You cannot climb effectively while carrying this weight. The only solution is to stop, to consciously acknowledge the backpack, and to begin, with intention, to remove each stone, one by one. This is the foundation of your practical plan, your debt release plan. The first step is clarity. You must take the backpack off and look inside. This means sitting down and listing every single debt you have, from the largest mortgage to the smallest amount owed to a friend. Write down the numbers. Do this without judgment, without flinching. You are simply taking inventory. You are bringing what was hidden in the darkness of shame into the neutral light of a spreadsheet. The act of seeing it all clearly is itself an enormous release of pressure. The monster is never as scary once you turn on the light. The second step is strategy. You must create a clear, realistic, and systematic plan for paying off what you owe. The specific strategy you choose, whether it's paying off the smallest debts first for psychological wins or the highest interest debts for financial efficiencies, less important than the act of having a conscious plan. A plan tells the universe and your own subconscious mind that you are taking control. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your own liberation. The third step, and this is the alchemical key, is to transform the painful act of making payments into a joyful ritual of release. Each time you make a payment, whether it is large or small, do not do it with a resentful sigh. Instead, pause. Take a breath. As you send the money, say to yourself, "I am grateful for my ability to release this old energy. With this payment, I am buying my freedom. I am completing this cycle with honor." Feel the lightness that comes from letting a stone go. Celebrate every single payment as a victory, as a step up the mountain. The final and most crucial part of this process is the conscious shift of your focus. Once you have a clear plan and it is in motion, your work with the debt is largely done. Your primary creative energy should no longer be focused on the problem, the debt. It must now be relentlessly focused on the solution, creating abundance. You have addressed the past. Now, turn your entire being toward the future. Spend your mental and emotional energy on your gratitude practices, on your visualizations of a debt-free life, on exploring new avenues for income, on the inspired actions that feel light and expansive. You are telling your subconscious mind and the universe that while you have a responsible plan for cleaning up the past, your true passion and focus is on building a magnificent, prosperous future. You are taking your attention off the heavy backpack and placing it on the beautiful summit ahead. By engaging with your debt in this conscious, empowered, and unemotional way, you are doing more than just managing your finances. You are performing a profound act of energetic healing. You are clearing old, stagnant blockages from your energy field. You are releasing vast reserves of mental and emotional energy that were previously consumed by worry, shame, and fear. Your mind becomes clearer. Your spirit becomes lighter. You become an open and receptive channel. When your personal frequency is no longer clogged with the dense static of old financial burdens, you become capable of receiving new, clearer, and much higher frequency transmissions. You create the inner space necessary to hear the quiet whispers of intuition and to download the brilliant, life-changing ideas that are constantly being broadcast from the universal mind. You have cleared the channel, and now it is time to learn how to listen to what comes through. Having cleared the energetic burdens of your past, you have done more than simply balance a ledger. You have created space. You have freed up vast amounts of psychic real estate that were previously occupied by the squatters of worry and shame. Your inner world, once a noisy, cluttered room, is now becoming a quiet, open, and resonant chamber. This inner spaciousness is the prerequisite for the next phase of your creative journey, becoming a clear and open channel for divine inspiration. You must understand that the greatest financial breakthroughs, the most transformative business ideas, the elegant solutions that create immense value in the world, are very rarely born from the logical, analytical mind. Your intellect is a magnificent tool. It is brilliant at managing, organizing, and executing what is already known. But it cannot, by its very nature, access the truly new. It can only rearrange the old furniture. True innovation, true wealth-creating inspiration comes from beyond the intellect. It descends from a higher field of intelligence, a universal mind that holds the solution to every problem and the blueprint for every possibility. Think of your own mind as a sophisticated biological antenna. It is designed by its very nature to receive transmissions from this infinite field of intelligence. However, for most people, this antenna is functioning at a fraction of its capacity. It has been neglected. It is caked with the dense mud of limiting beliefs and past traumas. Worse, it is being constantly bombarded with interference, a relentless storm of inner and outer static. The internal static is the ceaseless chatter of your own anxious mind, the planning, the worrying, the replaying of conversations. The external static is the noise of the world, the demands of social media, the fear propagated by the news, the endless distractions. With such a terrible signal-to-noise ratio, is it any wonder that the subtle high-frequency whispers of inspiration cannot get through? Every step of the journey you have taken so far has been an act of cleaning this antenna and reducing the static, releasing the shame of debt, healing the wound of unworthiness, practicing silence. These are not just feel-good exercises. They are acts of profound technical maintenance on your receiving equipment. You have been preparing yourself to hear a clearer signal. This requires a fundamental shift in how you approach problem-solving, which will trigger a deep internal conflict. You have been trained your entire life to believe that the solution to any problem is to think harder. When faced with a financial challenge, your conditioned response is to double down on mental effort, to brainstorm, to analyze, to force a solution through sheer intellectual horsepower. This act of trying harder creates immense mental tension. It is an act of straining, of clenching, and this tension is just more static. It constricts the very channel you are trying to open. This is why your best ideas rarely come when you are hunched over your desk in a state of stress. The alternative is a state of conscious allowing. It is the art of defining a problem or a desire and then releasing it. You offer it up to the universal mind, trusting that its infinitely greater intelligence is already working on the optimal solution. This is not passive laziness. It is an active state of relaxed, receptive awareness. It is a profound act of faith that moves you from a position of control to one of collaboration with a power far greater than your own. Here, you must embrace a humbling and incredibly liberating truth. You are not the source of your best ideas. You are the channel for them. The pressure to be brilliant, to be creative, to be smart enough to solve your problems is a burden of the ego. It is a complete misunderstanding of the creative process. The greatest artists, scientists, and entrepreneurs throughout history have all described a similar phenomenon. The sense that their best work came through them, not from them. They had the feeling of being a conduit, of taking dictation from an unseen source. Your only job is not to generate the brilliant idea, but to make yourself a worthy and clear vessel through which it can be delivered. And these transmissions, these intuitive downloads, almost always arrive when the logical, controlling mind is temporarily offline. They come in the shower, when the warm water has relaxed your body and mind. They come on a long drive, when you are in a state of light hypnosis. They come during a walk in nature, while washing the dishes, or in the peaceful moments just before you fall asleep or just after you wake up. These are the sacred portals, the moments when the static dies down and the signal can finally break through. Because these moments are so precious and the insight so fleeting, you must adopt the discipline of a sacred scribe. This is your practical application, the art of the capture. You must always have a tool at the ready to honor these transmissions. Carry a small pocket notebook and a pen with you everywhere. Have a dedicated notes app on the home screen of your phone. This simple act of preparation sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the universe. I am listening. I am ready. I value what you have to send me. Then, the moment an idea strikes, you must act. An idea, a hunch, a line of poetry, a solution to a problem you'd given up on. A sudden urge to call someone, it does not matter how small, strange, or incomplete it seems. Your immediate task is to capture it. Write it down exactly as it came to you, without judgment, without analysis, and most importantly, without immediately trying to figure out how you will accomplish it. The how is not your concern in that moment. Your only job is to honor the message by recording it. This notebook, this file, becomes your sacred text. It is your direct personal line to the universal mind. By treating the small ideas with this level of reverence, you prove that you are a trustworthy channel, ready to handle the bigger, life-changing transmissions. Neglect these whispers, and the universe may stop sending them, concluding that you are not truly listening. By doing this inner work, you have transformed yourself from a solid wall that blocks inspiration into a clear pane of glass through which it can shine. You have learned that the million-dollar idea is not something you must wrestle from the heavens through struggle, but something you can receive in grace when you have created the inner quiet to hear it. These ideas, these divine downloads, are the potent seeds of your new, abundant reality. But a seed, even one with a divine blueprint, cannot grow on barren rock. It requires fertile soil, a supportive climate, and protection from pests and harsh weather. Having received the precious seed of a new idea, your next task is to ensure that the external world you inhabit is a place where it can not only survive, but thrive. You must become a conscious cultivator of your outer environment, creating a rich and nourishing ecology that will support and amplify the growth of your inspired visions. You have now become an open channel. By clearing the inner static of debt, fear, and unworthiness, you have prepared the sacred space within for inspiration to land. You have learned to capture the divine whispers of intuition, those precious, potent seeds of your new reality. But a seed, no matter how divinely architected, cannot grow in a toxic environment. Its potential is entirely dependent on the quality of the soil, the purity of the water, and the warmth of the sun. Having done the profound work of cultivating your inner garden, we must now turn our attention to the world outside. We must ensure that the external ecology you inhabit is one that will nourish this precious new growth, not poison it. You cannot sustain a high-frequency inner state if you are constantly immersed in a low-frequency outer world. To do so is to try and keep a small flame lit in the middle of a hurricane. Your inner and outer worlds must come into resonance. The first and most powerful law of any ecosystem is that energy is contagious. Just as a single drop of poison can contaminate a whole glass of water, the energy of the people, places, and information you surround yourself with inevitably seeps into your own being. This happens through the principle of energetic entrainment. Your energy field, like a string on a guitar, will naturally begin to vibrate in sympathy with the strongest frequencies around it. If you spend your time with people who are vibrating at the frequency of scarcity, people who constantly complain about their lack of money, who gossip with envy about the success of others, who speak the language of cynicism and victimhood, their frequency will inevitably pull on yours. Their fear becomes your fear. Their limitations become your limitations. These are the energy vampires, the scarcity broadcasters, and spending time with them after doing this deep inner work is like inviting a goat into your newly planted garden. They will trample your delicate seedlings and devour your new growth. This realization will bring you face to face with one of the most difficult internal conflicts on the spiritual path. The conflict between loyalty to your past and loyalty to your future. The scarcity broadcasters in your life may not be strangers. They may be people you love dearly. They may be family members, childhood friends, people with whom you share a long history. A part of you feels a deep sense of loyalty and obligation to them. The thought of spending less time with them or of ending certain relationships may trigger immense guilt. You may feel that you are being arrogant, judgmental, or that you are abandoning them. This is the scarcity mindset fighting for its life, using the noble language of loyalty to keep you tethered to the very energies you are trying to transcend. You must reframe this. Choosing to protect your energy is not an act of judgment against others. It is an act of profound self-respect for the sacred work you have done. It is acknowledging that you cannot help another person climb out of a pit if you are allowing them to continually pull you back in. You cannot give from an empty cup, and these relationships are emptying your cup faster than you can fill it. This leads to a core, empowering message. You must become the conscious, deliberate, and unapologetic architect of your personal ecology. This is not a passive process. It is an active and ongoing curation of your life. It is a declaration that your inner peace and your high vibration state are your most valuable assets, and you will protect them with the same ferocity that a lioness protects her cubs. You have a choice. You have a say in who gets access to your time and your energy. You have a say in what information you allow into your mind. You have a say in what voices you listen to. Taking radical responsibility for these choices is the ultimate act of sovereignty. You are no longer a passive sponge, soaking up the random energies of the world. You are the gatekeeper of your own sacred space. You are the master gardener of your entire life. To understand this practically, return to the metaphor of the plant. Imagine the precious seedling of your new, abundant consciousness. Are you going to plant it in a dark, cold cellar, surrounded by weeds and pests, and hope for the best? Or are you going to build a greenhouse for it? A place with rich, organic soil, purified water, abundant sunlight, and the company of other healthy, thriving plants. Building this greenhouse is your next great work. First, you must curate your social circle. This does not always mean cutting people off entirely, but it does mean consciously managing your exposure. For the true energy vampires, you may need to lovingly create distance. For family members or old friends you cannot or do not wish to cut off, you must learn to shield your energy. This means entering interactions with a conscious intention. I will maintain my own state of peace and positivity, and I will not allow myself to be drawn into their drama or negativity. You can be a peaceful, loving presence without participating in their low-frequency conversation. Simultaneously, you must actively seek out your new tribe. Find the sunlight people, the optimists, the creators, the entrepreneurs, the spiritual seekers. Join a mastermind group. Find a local meetup. Participate in online forums where people are discussing ideas, not complaining about problems. When you are in the presence of others who are also cultivating abundance, your growth becomes exponential. Their belief strengthens your belief. Their success inspires your success. Second, you must curate your information diet. The content you consume is the food you are feeding your mind. If you are constantly consuming a diet of fear-based news, cynical commentary, and social media feeds that are designed to make you feel envious and inadequate, you are feeding your mind poison. It is time for a digital declutter. Unfollow every single account on social media that does not leave you feeling inspired, educated, or uplifted. Unsubscribe from news alerts that keep you in a state of agitation. Stop watching shows and listening to podcasts that glorify victimhood and mock ambition. Be ruthless in eliminating the sources of energetic pollution from your life. Then, you must consciously replace the junk food with nourishment. Immerse yourself in the frequency of abundance. Listen to audiobooks and podcasts by people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Read the biographies of successful and inspiring individuals. Watch documentaries about creativity, innovation, and human potential. Make your car a mobile university. Make your home a sanctuary of inspiration. Your environment should become a constant, supportive echo of the new truths you are choosing to embody. When you deliberately craft an ecology where your relationships, your home, and the information you consume are all in alignment with your goal of abundance, a powerful feedback loop is created. Your inner state of peace and positivity is reflected and amplified by your outer world. Your outer world in turn nourishes and strengthens your inner state. You are no longer swimming against the current of your environment. You are now supported by it, carried by it, accelerated by it. You have built your greenhouse. Your seedling is now protected, nourished, and growing strong. As it grows, it will begin to bear fruit. You will start to see tangible results, real successes, a genuine increase in the flow of abundance into your life. And with this newfound success comes a new and very subtle enemy. It is a challenge that arises not from failure, but from victory. It is the alluring, comfortable, and dangerous plateau of complacency. And learning to navigate this next phase is crucial for your continued expansion. Through your devoted inner work and the conscious curation of your outer world, a great shift has occurred. The frantic energy of lack has subsided. The gnawing anxiety in the pit of your stomach has softened into a quiet hum of peace. Money flows to you with more ease. Opportunities appear. You have journeyed out of the dark, thorny valley of scarcity and have arrived at a new place. It is a wide, green, and pleasant plateau. The air here is clear, the sun is warm, and for the first time in a long time, you feel a sense of safety, of having enough. This new reality is so profoundly better than the struggle you left behind that it can feel like a final destination. You have, in a very real sense, arrived. And it is here, in this beautiful, comfortable place, that you will face one of the most subtle and seductive dangers on the entire journey of expansion, the golden cage of the comfort zone. This plateau of comfort is a territory of seductive safety. The memory of the struggle is still fresh in your mind, the sleepless nights, the constant worry. Having finally found relief, your primary motivation can unconsciously shift. Before, you were driven by the desire for gain, the powerful pull toward a better future. Now, you can find yourself driven by the fear of loss. You become a protector of your newfound peace, a guardian of your current level of success. The thought of risking what you have for the possibility of something more can seem foolish, even reckless. You stop taking creative risks. You say no to opportunities that feel too big or uncertain. You begin to define your success not by how much you are growing, but by how well you are maintaining the status quo. Your affirmation becomes not, "I am expanding," but "at least I'm not struggling anymore." This is the plateau of good enough. And while good enough is a paradise compared to the hell of scarcity, it is also a self-imposed prison that places a ceiling on your infinite potential. This gives rise to a new internal conflict, a quiet civil war between two fundamental aspects of your being. The first is the settler. The settler archetype within you is the part that craves safety, predictability, and security. Having found this pleasant plateau, the settler wants to immediately build a fence around it. It wants to put down deep roots, learn the lay of this small land perfectly, and live out its days in familiar comfort. It is the voice that says, "This is good, let's not push our luck. Let's just enjoy this and be grateful for it." And its desire comes from a place of wisdom. It honors the need for rest and appreciation. But there is another voice within you. It is the voice of the explorer. The explorer is the voice of your soul, the expression of life's innate impulse to expand and become more. The explorer stands on the plateau, and while it appreciates the view, its eyes are drawn to the distant, sunlit mountain peaks that rise even higher. The explorer is not driven by a lack or a dissatisfaction with the present, but by a holy curiosity, a divine restlessness that asks, what else is possible? What wonders lie over the next horizon? How much more can I become? When you allow the cautious voice of the settler to dominate, you deny the sacred calling of the explorer. Your life becomes safe, but your soul begins to slowly atrophy from a lack of adventure. Stagnation begins. You must understand a fundamental law of the universe. There is no such thing as true stasis. Life is not a destination, it is a direction. Everything in existence is either in a process of growth, of expansion, of becoming more, or it is in a process of decay, of contraction, of becoming less. A tree that stops reaching for the sun begins to die. A mind that stops learning begins to close. A business that stops innovating is overtaken. The energy of abundance is a living, breathing current, and it too obeys this law. To try and hold your current level of success, to build a dam around your pleasant pond of prosperity, is to cut it off from its source. A pond without an inflow and an outflow quickly becomes stagnant and lifeless. True, unshakable security is not found in clinging to what you currently have. It is found in cultivating an absolute faith in your ever-expanding capacity to create and receive more. The ultimate goal is not to arrive at a static number in a bank account, but to fully embody the dynamic, joyful, and ceaseless process of unfolding abundance. It is to know, in your bones, that you are a channel for an infinite source, and therefore your supply can never truly be threatened. The metaphor to hold in your heart is that of the great flowing river. Life is this river. You are in your boat. To stop paddling is not to rest peacefully. To stop paddling is to immediately begin drifting backward with the current. The practice, then, is not to paddle with the frantic, desperate energy of the hustle. It is to maintain a steady, joyful, and powerful rhythm. It is to keep your gaze fixed forward, on the next bend in the river, excited for the new landscapes you will see. It is to stay engaged, to keep your paddle in the water. To ensure you do this, you must consciously and playfully challenge yourself. You must give your inner explorer a map and a mission. You must deliberately set small, manageable growth challenges that pull you slightly beyond the boundaries of your current comfort zone. This is your practical application for breaking through the plateau. On a regular basis, choose a new challenge in one of 3 areas. First, an intellectual challenge. Commit to reading 1 book every month on a subject you know absolutely nothing about: quantum physics, ancient history, landscape gardening, a new language. This forces your mind to create new neural pathways and keeps you in a state of beginner's mind, open and curious. Second, a skill-based challenge. Learn 1 new practical skill, no matter how small. It could be learning how to use a new piece of software, how to cook a complex dish, how to invest in the stock market, or how to properly use a new tool. This builds your sense of competence and proves to your subconscious mind that you are still capable of growth and mastery. Third, and most importantly for this work, a financial challenge. Look at your current income, your current savings, your current level of giving. Now, set a new goal that is just outside your comfortable reach. A goal that feels both exciting and just a little bit scary. Perhaps it is increasing your monthly income by 10%, or opening a new investment account, or doubling the amount you are able to give each month. This specific, measurable goal gives your explorer a mountain to climb and reignites the creative, expansive energy you have been cultivating. By embracing this commitment to lifelong growth, you are making a sacred promise to your soul. You are telling the universe that you are not available for stagnation. You refuse to settle for a comfortable cage when an infinite horizon awaits. You choose the path of the explorer, the path of continuous, joyful expansion. To fuel this constant forward momentum, to continually give yourself the energetic thrust needed to break through each new plateau, you must learn to use the most direct and creative force you possess. You must move beyond simply thinking and feeling your reality. You must learn to use the awesome power of your own voice, to speak your intentions with such clarity and conviction that the universe has no choice but to listen. It is time to learn the power of proclamation. You have committed to a path of perpetual growth, a journey of constant, joyful expansion. To fuel this journey, to provide the energetic thrust required to break through each new plateau of comfort, you must now learn to wield the most direct creative instrument you possess, your own voice. The power of the spoken word is not a new age fantasy. It is one of the oldest and most profound mystical truths. In countless sacred traditions and creation myths, the world comes into being through a divine utterance. In the beginning was the Word. This is not just a story. It is a user's manual for the human consciousness. Sound is vibration. The spoken word is the process by which you, a center of consciousness, take a formless thought and transform it into a specific, tangible vibration that ripples out into the quantum field. Your words are not merely descriptions of your reality. They are incantations. They are spells. They are the tools you use to cast the circle of your own existence, whether you are aware of it or not. For most of your life, you have been using this sacred power unconsciously and often destructively. You have been casting spells of lack upon yourself without even realizing it. Every time you have said the words, "I'm so broke," you were not just describing a temporary situation. You were speaking a curse, casting a spell of brokenness upon your own future. Every time you have sighed, "I can never afford that," you were issuing a powerful, creative decree to the universe and to your own subconscious mind, commanding them to create a reality in which your desire remains perpetually out of reach. Phrases like, "That's just my luck," "It's too good to be true," or "Money just seems to slip through my fingers," are not harmless observations. They are powerful, self-fulfilling prophecies. Your subconscious mind is a profoundly loyal and non-judgmental servant. It does not care if a command is good for you or bad for you. Its only function is to accept the instructions it is given and to work tirelessly to manifest them as your physical reality. When you repeatedly speak the language of lack, you are programming your loyal servant to ensure that you continue to experience it. You have been, in effect, hypnotizing yourself into a state of financial struggle. The first step in breaking this trance is to become exquisitely aware of the words you use every day when you speak about money, about yourself, and about your life. This new awareness will naturally lead to an internal conflict. As you begin to consciously choose a new language, a language of abundance and empowerment, it will feel strange. It will feel awkward, inauthentic, even fraudulent. When your bank account is low, to stand up and declare, "I am a magnet for wealth and prosperity," will cause the inner cynic, the voice of your old programming, to scream in protest. It will call you a liar. It will tell you that you are delusional. It is crucial that you understand this feeling of discomfort. It is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are doing something right. It is the feeling of cognitive dissonance, the friction between the old, deeply grooved neural pathways of lack and the new, fragile pathways of abundance you are trying to create. The goal is not to wait until it feels true to speak this way. The goal is to speak this way with such conviction and consistency that it becomes your truth. You are not lying about your present reality. You are prophesying your future one. This brings us to the core message. Your words are commands, and you must now move from describing your past to proclaiming your future. There is a vast difference between a weak, hopeful affirmation and a powerful, authoritative proclamation. An affirmation might say, "I hope to be wealthy one day." It is spoken from a place of lack, looking toward a distant future. A proclamation declares, "I am wealth. I am abundance. I am financial freedom now." It is spoken in the present tense from a place of absolute authority. It is the voice of the architect, not the beggar. It is the voice of the king or queen decreeing how their kingdom shall be. When you speak a proclamation, you are not asking, you are telling. You are issuing a new set of instructions to your subconscious mind. You are sending a new, clear, and powerful vibrational order out into the universe. The charged emotion behind the spoken word is what organizes the unseen energy into manifest form. This is why the metaphor of a magic wand is so perfect. Your tongue is that wand. The words you choose are the incantation. Be very, very careful what spells you are casting. Your practical application is to become the forger of your own reality through the words you choose. You will now craft your own power proclamations. These must be personal, positive, and spoken in the present tense as if they are already an established fact. They should evoke a feeling of power and expansion within you. Here are some examples to inspire you. I am a powerful and deliberate creator of my reality. Money flows to me in ever-increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that large sums of money come to me easily and frequently for the good of all. My mind is a brilliant source of prosperous ideas. I am always in the right place at the right time for the greatest opportunities. I am the embodiment of wealth, wholeness, and radiant well-being. Choose the ones that resonate most with you, or craft your own. The second part of the practice is the ritual of declaration. These words should not be mumbled under your breath. They should be spoken with power and authority. The ideal practice is to stand tall in front of a mirror, look yourself directly in the eye, and declare them out loud. Feel the vibration of your own voice in your chest and throat. Feel the words as a physical force. Do not just say them, become them. Make this a daily ritual, a sacred act of aligning your personal energy with the reality you are commanding into existence. By consciously choosing your words, you take hold of the steering wheel of your life. You are no longer allowing the random, negative programming of the past to dictate your course. You are now navigating with precision, power, and purpose. However, for your proclamations to have their maximum creative force, they must be launched from a specific energetic platform. If you shout your proclamations from a place of fear, neediness, or desperate attachment to the outcome, their power is significantly diluted. The universe feels the dissonant vibration of lack beneath the words of abundance. To truly speak your world into being, your words must be backed by an unshakable inner peace and a profound trust in the process. They must be spoken from a place of confident knowing, not desperate needing. This requires the mastery of a subtle, advanced, and profoundly liberating skill, the discipline of detachment. You have now learned to speak the language of creation. With the power of your proclamation, you have sent a clear and authoritative command into the universe, instructing it on the reality you choose to inhabit. But for this command to be fulfilled with the greatest speed and grace, it must be launched from a specific energetic platform. It must be released from a state of profound trust, not a state of anxious need. This brings us to the most subtle, the most advanced, and the most liberating discipline on the path of conscious creation, the art of detachment. Herein lies a great paradox that has confounded seekers for ages. To manifest your desire, you must want it with the fullness of your heart, yet you must simultaneously be utterly at peace with not having it. This is not a contradiction. It is a sacred balancing act between two poles of creative energy, focused intention, and complete surrender. Mastering this balance is the key to unlocking the gates of effortless manifestation. To understand this, we must first make a crucial distinction between the energy of pure desire and the energy of needy attachment. Pure desire is a high-frequency, divine energy. It is the universe itself, seeking to express more of its own life, beauty, and abundance through you. When you feel a pure desire for a more expansive life, it feels exciting. It is a pull from the future. It feels like growth, possibility, and joy. It is the energy of I am joyfully expanding to meet this new reality. There is no fear in pure desire, only a sense of delicious anticipation. Needy attachment, on the other hand, is a low-frequency energy rooted entirely in fear and lack. It is the voice of the ego that says, "I need this thing to happen in order to be happy. I am not whole or okay without this outcome. My survival depends on it." This energy feels contracted, anxious, and desperate. It is the energy of clinging, of grasping, of trying to force an outcome. And its root vibration is a loud declaration of absence. It screams to the universe, "I don't have this, and I am terrified without it." By the infallible law of resonance, this frequency of neediness can only attract more circumstances that validate the feeling of not having. It paradoxically pushes away the very thing you are clinging to. This gives rise to a powerful internal conflict between the creator and the controller within you. The creator is the part of you we have been cultivating. It loves to visualize, to feel, to dream, to proclaim. It is the visionary, the architect. But once the creator has drawn the beautiful blueprint, the controller, which is the fear-based ego, often rushes in and snatches it away. The controller is terrified that the plan won't work. It does not trust the master builder of the universe, so it begins to micromanage. It obsesses over the how. It constantly scans the horizon for evidence and panics when it sees none. It tries to force doors open, to manipulate people, to control every variable. This controlling energy, born from a profound lack of faith, is like planting a beautiful seed in the garden and then digging it up every 10 minutes to see if it has sprouted. This anxious meddling disrupts the natural, invisible process of germination. It smothers your desire with the heavy, dense energy of doubt. The core message, the great release, is this: your job is to define the what and to anchor the why. The how is not your concern. Your function is to be the clearest, most passionate visionary you can be. Create the blueprint with your focused intention. Charge it with the emotion of its fulfillment. Declare it with the power of your proclamation, and then your work is done. You must then hand the blueprint over to the universal manager, the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos with a complexity and elegance that your conscious mind cannot possibly comprehend. This intelligence, which can coordinate the orbits of galaxies and the intricate dance of cells within your own body, is more than capable of arranging the people, opportunities, and circumstances necessary to bring your desire to fruition. To try and control the how and the when is an act of spiritual arrogance. It is telling the master conductor of the symphony that you know better how the violins should be played. The discipline of detachment is the act of learning to trust this conductor. It is the profound peace that comes from knowing that your happiness and well-being are not dependent on whether the symphony plays out exactly as you imagined it. Your well-being is secure within you, right now, regardless of external circumstances. The perfect metaphor for this is the act of holding sand. If you see a beautiful handful of sand and you clench your fist around it, desperately trying to possess it, what happens? The grains slip through the cracks between your fingers, and you are left with almost nothing. The act of grasping, of needing, causes you to lose the very thing you want. But if you simply hold your palm open, relaxed and receptive, the sand rests there perfectly. You can enjoy its beauty and texture without losing it. Abundance is this sand. The more you grasp for it with needy, fearful energy, the more it slips through your fingers. When you can hold your desire in the open, trusting palm of detachment, it can remain with you. The practical application of this is to build a conscious release ritual into the end of all your creative practices. After your daily session of visualization or proclamation, after you have fully felt the joy of your desire as a present reality, consciously perform this act of surrender. Take a deep breath, and say out loud or to yourself, "This, or something even better, now manifests for my highest good and the highest good of all. I release this and I surrender the outcome to the infinite wisdom of the universe. I trust the process of life." Feel the energetic release as you say these words. Feel yourself literally handing the blueprint over. You are letting go of the need to control, and in doing so, you are allowing the magic to happen. This state of detachment is not apathy. It is not indifference. It is not giving up on your desires. It is the highest, most potent form of faith. It is the serene, unshakable confidence of the master gardener who, after planting the seed and watering the soil, does not spend his days in anxiety, but trusts in the laws of nature to bring forth the sprout in its own perfect timing. He knows he has done his part, and now he allows the greater power to do its part. This profound trust, this peaceful expectation, is what allows you to navigate the most challenging phase of the creative process, the period of apparent silence, the sacred pause between the planting and the harvest. It is what gives you the strength and the patience to wait with grace and without doubt for the first green shoots to break through the soil. For there is always a gestation period, a sacred interval where the work is happening in the unseen, and learning to trust this process is our next great task. You have now entered the most profound and challenging phase of the creative process. You have cleared your inner world, planted the seeds of your intention, spoken your proclamations of power, and released your desire with detached trust. You have done your work. You have sent your clear, coherent order to the great kitchen of the universe. And now you wait. You now stand in the sacred pause. This is the space between the casting of the spell and the appearance of the magic. It is the silence between the asking and the receiving. It is a liminal space, a bridge between your old reality and the new one that is being formed. To the outer senses and to your impatient mind, it will seem as if nothing is happening. It is this appearance of nothingness, this pregnant void, that is the ultimate test of your faith. It is in this silent waiting room that your mastery is either solidified or forfeited. You must understand that all of creation, in every dimension, has a natural and necessary gestation period. A human child gestates in the darkness of the womb for 9 months, undergoing a miraculous and complex process of development, all of it completely hidden from view. A great oak tree begins as a tiny acorn, buried in the dark earth, and must first build a vast, intricate root system before a single green shoot ever breaks the surface. Some species of bamboo, after being planted, will show absolutely no external growth for up to 5 years. For 5 years, the ground appears barren. A foolish gardener would give up, declaring the seed a failure. But a wise gardener knows that beneath the surface, a massive and powerful root structure is being established, preparing to support the explosive growth that is to come. And when it is ready, the bamboo can shoot up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. So it is with your desires. Once you have planted your seed in the fertile soil of the subconscious, an immense and complex orchestration begins in the unseen. The universal intelligence is rearranging the matrix of reality on your behalf. It is coordinating schedules, moving people, influencing events, and clearing pathways. This work is as real and as active as the growth of a child in the womb, but it is, for a time, completely invisible to you. It is this invisibility that triggers the great internal conflict between patience and doubt. Your ego and your conditioned mind, addicted to the instant gratification of the material world, will begin to grow restless. Your inner cynic, which had been quieted by your diligent practice, will reawaken with a vengeance. It will begin to whisper its toxic poison into your ear. See, I told you, it wasn't working. Nothing is happening. You wasted your time. You were a fool to believe in all this nonsense. It's time to be realistic and go back to the old way of struggling. This is the moment of greatest danger. This is the point where most people abandon their new consciousness and revert to their old programming of fear and lack. They dig up the seed to see if it's growing, and in doing so, they kill it. Every time you allow yourself to fall into a state of worry, you are sending a powerful counter-intention into the field, effectively cancelling your original order. Every time you frantically look for external evidence and feel disappointment when you see none, you are broadcasting the loud, clear frequency of "it hasn't happened yet," which, by law, the universe must match by providing you with more "not having it." The conflict is clear. You must choose whether you will water your invisible seed with the life-giving energy of faith or poison it with the acid of your doubt. The model for this sacred phase of creation is the wise farmer. The farmer does not plant a seed and then spend his days in a state of anxiety. He does not stand in the middle of the field shouting at the ground, demanding that the sprout appear. He does not curse the sky when there is no visible progress. He has a deep, abiding and serene trust in the laws of nature. He prepares the soil meticulously. He chooses the best seed. He plants it at the right depth. He waters it, and then he lets go. He turns his attention to other tasks, resting in the calm, unshakable knowing that the invisible forces of life, the sun, the soil, the water, the very intelligence of the seed itself are now at work. He knows that the growth is happening deep in the darkness, according to a timeline that is perfect and beyond his control. We must learn to have this same farmer's faith in the invisible laws of consciousness. We must trust the silence of the universe. Its silence is not a sign of rejection or neglect. It is the quiet, focused hum of a master craftsman at work on your behalf. It is the sound of your new world being built. So, what is the practical work during this sacred pause? How do you keep your faith strong when the inevitable waves of doubt and impatience wash over you? The practice is to use gratitude as your anchor in the storm of uncertainty. The moment you feel the cold grip of doubt, the moment your mind starts to spin its story of "it's not working," you must immediately and consciously pivot your attention. Do not fight the doubtful thought. Simply withdraw your focus from it and place it on what is already real and present. Look around your current reality and find evidence, no matter how small, that the universe is, and always has been, a source of abundance. Feel gratitude for the air you are breathing, a free and endless gift. Feel gratitude for the roof over your head, a magnificent manifestation of shelter and security. Feel gratitude for the meal you last ate, for a warm conversation with a friend, for the technology that allows you to hear these words. By deliberately focusing on the abundance you already have, you are performing a powerful act of faith. You are reminding your own nervous system of the feeling of being supported. You are telling the universe, "I remember your nature. I see the proof of your generosity all around me. Therefore, I trust that the larger manifestation I have asked for, which is of the same abundant nature, is also on its way." This practice nourishes your seed with the high frequency of trust and starves the weeds of doubt. By holding your focus and your faith steady through this period of quiet gestation, you are doing more than just waiting. You are undergoing a profound initiation. You are graduating from a conditional faith, which requires external proof, to an unconditional faith, which is a state of being. You are proving to yourself and to the cosmos that your inner state of peace and knowing is no longer dependent on outer circumstances. This is the final solidification of your new consciousness. And when you have passed this test, when the seed has been allowed to establish its roots deep in the darkness, undisturbed by your fear, then the time for silence will end. The seed will have gathered enough energy and strength to break through the surface. The universe will begin to speak to you again, no longer in silence, but in signs. It will start to leave you a trail of clues, a series of winks and nudges, to let you know that your creation is imminent, that your harvest is near. You have trusted the pause, and now it is time to learn the language of its unfolding. Having held your faith steady through the silent, sacred pause, you have proven your trust in the unseen. You have passed the great test of gestation. Now, the universe begins to shift its mode of communication with you. The silence is broken, not by a sudden clap of thunder, but by a series of gentle whispers. The invisible work begins to ripple into the visible world. You enter the phase of synchronicity. A synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence. It is an event or a series of events that seems connected by a profound sense of meaning rather than by a direct and obvious chain of cause and effect. It is the universe pulling back the curtain for a brief moment, allowing you to glimpse the intricate, invisible web of connections it is weaving on your behalf. It is the language of a reality that is alive, intelligent, and responding directly to you. As these meaningful coincidences begin to appear in your life, you will be met with a final and powerful internal conflict. It is the last stand of the inner cynic, the rational mind that has been taught to believe in a random, mechanical universe. When you think of an old friend and they call you a moment later, this mind will immediately label it a fluke, a random chance, a mere coincidence. It will work very hard to dismiss the magic, to explain it away, to fit it back into its old, limited model of reality. This is its job. It seeks to protect you from what it doesn't understand. But another part of you, the intuitive self that you have been nurturing, will feel a thrill. It will feel a chill up its spine. It will recognize the event not as random, but as resonant. It will feel the wink from the universe. Your task now is to consciously withdraw your belief from the dismissive voice of the cynic and place your trust in the knowing of your intuition. You must understand that in the interconnected vibrational reality you inhabit, there is no such thing as a truly random event. What we call coincidence is simply the name we give to the orchestration of the universe when we are not yet able to see the strings. The core message you must now embody is that synchronicity is the native language of the universe in flow. It is the feedback system, the confirmation code that your broadcast is being received loud and clear. Learning to read this language is to enter into a conscious and interactive dialogue with the creative force of life itself. This language has many dialects. One dialect is that of timely information. You will be pondering a problem, and you will suddenly overhear a conversation on a bus, or see a book title in a shop window, or have a YouTube video recommended to you that contains the exact piece of information you needed to move forward. Another dialect is that of fortuitous encounters. You will be thinking, I really need to find someone who knows about this specific subject, and the next day you will be introduced to a leading expert at a party, or you will sit next to them on a plane. A third dialect is that of symbols. The universe will begin to communicate with you through repeating number seeing, 11, 11 or 444 everywhere you look, or through specific animals or objects that have a personal and intuitive meaning for you. These are not arbitrary signs. They are personalized messages, reflections of your own inner state and the themes of your current journey. The most beautiful metaphor for this process is that the universe is scattering a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow on your path to your desired reality. The breadcrumbs are the synchronicities. They are small, glistening clues left just for you, designed to guide you, to encourage you, and to confirm that you are headed in the right direction. But if your head is down, if you are staring at your phone, if your mind is lost in the old, familiar anxieties and worries, you will walk right past them. You will miss the magic. The key skill required to see the breadcrumbs is a state of relaxed, open, and curious awareness. It is the art of looking at your daily life not as a mundane series of chores, but as a grand, magical treasure hunt. It is to walk through your day with the quiet, expectant question, I wonder where the next clue will appear. This state of playful expectation tunes your perception to the frequency of magic, allowing you to notice the subtle signs and patterns that a stressed and distracted mind would completely overlook. To strengthen this new faculty of perception, you must begin to acknowledge and honor these messages. This is the practical application. The Synchronicity Journal. Dedicate a notebook solely to this purpose. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down any and all meaningful coincidences you observed. Do not judge them or edit them. No matter how small or seemingly silly, if it felt meaningful to you, write it down. I was thinking about needing more creativity in my life, and I saw 3 cars in a row with license plates that had the word art in them. I was feeling discouraged, and I looked up to see a single hawk circling peacefully overhead, which has always been a personal symbol of perspective for me. I keep seeing the number 8, the symbol of abundance, everywhere I go. At first, do not try to force an interpretation. Simply be the scribe, be the data collector. Then, once a week, review your journal. As you look at the entries together, the patterns will become undeniable. The themes will emerge. You will see how the universe has been speaking to you, guiding you, and responding to your specific thoughts and feelings. You will have your own personal, undeniable proof that you are living in a responsive, intelligent, and magical reality. You are learning to read the script of your own life as it unfolds. As you become fluent in this language of signs and symbols, you move into a new relationship with life. You are no longer a passive passenger, hoping you end up at the right destination. You are a co-pilot. You are actively engaged in a dialogue with your creative partner, the universe. You are reading the instruments. You are noticing the signposts. You are adjusting your course with confidence based on the feedback you are receiving. The synchronicities become the final, joyful confirmation that your inner vibrational work has been successful. They are the heralds, the messengers sent to announce that your old reality is dissolving and your new reality is imminent. They signal the final stage of your transformation, for you have now done all the work of clearing, intending, allowing, and trusting. You have followed the trail of breadcrumbs to the very threshold of your desire. And here, at this final gate, you will discover that the ultimate secret is not to attract abundance to you. The ultimate secret is to finally, fully, and completely become it. It is to cease being the ship searching for the harbor and to become the lighthouse itself. You have followed the trail of synchronicities, the cosmic breadcrumbs left just for you, and they have led you to this final threshold. Here, the journey takes its last and most profound turn. It is a turn inward, so complete that the very concept of a journey begins to dissolve. For the entire path, you have operated under a subtle assumption that there was you, the seeker, and it, the abundance you were seeking. The work has been about bridging the gap between the two, but here, at the culmination of all your efforts, the bridge itself disappears. For you come to the staggering realization that the seeker and the sought are, and always have been, one and the same. The chase is over, not because you have caught something, but because you have become it. You are no longer the ship searching for the harbor. You have become the lighthouse. This is the end of a paradigm. It is the final graduation from the state of doing to have into the state of being. The paradigm of doing to have is the world's way. It teaches that your actions create your results, and your results, your possessions, your status, your bank account determine your state of being. You must do the hard work to have the money so that you can finally be happy and secure. You have been working diligently to reverse this, learning to first be the person of abundance in your inner world, so that you could do the inspired actions required to have the results you desire. This too was a necessary and powerful phase of your transformation, but now even that structure falls away. In the ultimate state of consciousness, there is only being. You realize that abundance is not a quantity of money in your account. That is merely an external reflection, a shadow cast by the light of a true inner state. True, infinite abundance is a state of being. It is the felt reality of your own infinite creative potential. It is the profound, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you are an inseparable part of an infinitely generous universe. It is a spirit of effortless generosity, born not from a sense of duty, but from a state of constant overflow. When you fully inhabit this state of being, the having takes care of itself, effortlessly and automatically. Money, opportunities, and resources are no longer things you chase. They are things that gravitate toward you, drawn to the powerful, coherent, and magnetic frequency of your own enlightened consciousness. This is the great metaphor of the lighthouse. The lighthouse does not run up and down the coastline, frantically searching for ships to save. It does not worry on starless nights, wondering if any ships will see its light. It does not feel a sense of lack or failure if the harbor is empty. The lighthouse has only one function, one purpose, one duty: to be itself. Its work is entirely internal. It tends to its own inner lamp, ensuring its lens is clean, its fuel is full, and its light is powerful and pure. It stands firmly on the solid rock of its own foundation, and it simply, calmly, and consistently shines. It radiates its essence out into the world without agenda, without neediness, and without any attachment to a result. And because it shines so brightly and so steadily, the ships that are lost in the darkness, the ships that are seeking a safe harbor, naturally and irresistibly orient themselves toward its light. It does not chase them, it attracts them. Its power is not in its motion, but in its unwavering, radiant stillness. You are this lighthouse. Your inner work, the healing, the meditation, the proclamaciones, the act of tending to your inner lamp, your state of being, your peace, your joy, your sense of wholeness is the light itself. Your only job is to shine. Even as you begin to inhabit this elevated state, you will feel the echoes of the old world. This is the final internal conflict. It is the ghost of the doer, the phantom of the hustler, rising up to challenge your newfound peace. As you sit in a state of calm, joyful being, a voice may whisper, "Is this all you're going to do? Shouldn't you be working harder? Are you sure this is enough?" The old programming that equates effort with value will tempt you to abandon your post, to leave the lighthouse, and go back to the frantic business of chasing ships. You must recognize this voice for what it is, the last gasp of the ego that feels valuable only when it is struggling. Your test now is to trust, more deeply than ever before, in the magnetic power of your being. It is to know that your radiant stillness is infinitely more powerful and productive than your most frantic action. It is to choose the calm, quiet hum of the lighthouse over the loud, grinding engine of the world. The practical application of this state of being is the practice of embodiment. It is the art of living from the end. It is no longer about acting as if, which implies a separation. It is about simply acting from the truth of who you now are. This expresses itself in two ways. First, in your decision-making. When faced with any choice, big or small, you no longer ask, "What is the safe option? What can I afford?" Instead, you ask, "What would the person who is the living embodiment of infinite abundance choose to do here?" You will find that you naturally begin to choose expansion over contraction, trust over fear, generosity over hoarding. You make decisions not from a place of what you have, but from a place of who you are. Second, it expresses itself in your actions. Your actions become infused with a spirit of playfulness and generosity. You give of your time, your wisdom, and your resources, not as a strategy to receive more, but as the natural, spontaneous expression of your own overflowing fullness. You have become a fountain, not a drain. Your very presence becomes a gift to the world, a silent transmission of what is possible. You have now completed the circle. You have journeyed from the dark valley of lack to the sunlit peak of embodiment. You have realized that the blueprint for infinite abundance was never a map to an external treasure. It was the architectural design for the magnificent temple of your own consciousness. You are not just the architect, you are the temple itself. You are not just the gardener, you are the garden. You are not just the seeker, you are the source. This is the final destination, which is, in truth, the place where you have always been, though you did not know it. You are home, you are whole, you are wealth. At the beginning of our journey, you stood as an architect before a vast and empty plot of land. Within your hands, you held a desire for a blueprint, a map you believed would lead you to some distant, hidden treasure called prosperity. You have traveled far since that first moment, not across land, but through the deep and sacred landscapes of your own being. Look around you now. You are no longer standing on an empty plot. You are standing inside the finished work, a magnificent temple built not of stone or wood, but of the very energy of your own transformation. Its foundations are the deep, resonant stillness you learned to cultivate. Its pillars are the core values you had the courage to claim as your own. Every archway was built with the quiet strength of your patience, and the mortar that holds it all together is the unwavering faith you showed even when you could not see the path ahead. The brilliant light that now streams through every window is the radiant, unconditional worthiness you finally accepted as your birthright. You came seeking a blueprint for infinite wealth, believing it was a map to a vault. You have discovered the deeper truth. The journey itself was the blueprint, and its purpose was not to lead you to the treasure, but to methodically transform you into it. This was not an overnight miracle. It was a profound and fundamental shift in the very architecture of your soul. Do not ever believe that a power was given to you that you did not already possess. The strength to command your reality, the authority to choose your frequency, the power to build a life of boundless, holistic wealth was never outside of you. It was merely dormant, waiting for you to pick up the pen of your focused intention and the clean, blank paper of your own awareness. You have always been the creator. Now you simply know it. And so we arrive not at an ending, but at the true beginning. The work of healing and remembering is complete. The glorious, joyful work of pure creation now unfolds before you. All the tools are yours. All the power is yours. All the potential of a loving and responsive universe awaits your direction. The blueprint is now in your hands. The silence is your canvas. The universe is your partner. What masterpiece will you create?